Chapter 12. Yi Chen's mother, Sun Jia, heard from Yi Zhenhong that her son was going to the company. It seemed that her son still couldn't let go of Chu Xiong. She felt that this was a good thing. If there was a chance for the marriage between the Yi family and the Chu family to turn around, of course she had to give it a try. As for Chu Xiong saying that she would snatch the Yi family's bid if Yi Chen disturbed her again, she didn't believe it. It was just a child's angry words. Sun Jia made a round of phone calls and finally found an excuse to ask for Chu Xiong's new number in school. She personally called Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong had just finished showering. She put the phone on speaker while drying her hair. "Hello." Sun Jia smiled. Xiong, I'm your Aunt Yi. Why didn't you tell me that you changed your number? I wanted to ask you to go to the spa." Chu Xiong raised her eyebrows. "Aunt Yi, I've been busy recently. I don't have much free time. You can ask Bai Shuwei to accompany you." Sun Jie immediately said, "What Bai Shuwei or Huang Shuwei? I don't know them. I only like our Xiang Xiang. Xiang Xiang, how have you been recently? When you were hospitalized last time, I went abroad for vacation and didn't have time to visit you. Later you and Chen had some conflicts. I didn't have the face to see you." "Pretty good. I didn't realize that the world was so interesting in the past. This is the happiest time of my life." Chu Xiong didn't hold back at all. "And I still have work to do. I can't chat with you now." "Hey, wait. Sun Jie's expression was a little ugly, but she still smiled. "Xiang, Chen is going to work in the company. Who saw you go to the company and followed you? He finally knows how to improve. Only you can make him listen to you. In the future you will be in the same circle. Help me control him. Our families have been close for more than 10 years. We are as good as family. I treat you like my own daughter. Chen made a mistake, and I've already scolded him. He promised me that he would change. Don't treat us as outsiders. Later I'll get Chen to pour you some tea and apologize." Chu Xiong finally knew who Yi Chen had inherited his shamelessness from. His ability to talk to himself and be shameless was really impressive. He was comparable to the underlings of the demon realm. Chu Xiong chuckled and picked up her phone. "Auntie Yi, I can't tolerate sand in my eyes." Bai Shuwei and Bai Ling were standing right there. Anyone who was not blind could see them. "If you have any problems in the future, you should look for Bai Shuwei. I will never keep in touch with Yi Chen. Otherwise people in the circle will think that I, Chu Xiong, am a pushover who can be bullied easily. Alright, I'm busy. That's all." Chu Xiong hung up the phone and threw it aside. She waved her hand and the heaven and earth mirror appeared. She smoothed her hair in front of it and smiled. "Let them fight each other. Don't disturb me. If this was where I came from, I would have beaten them to a pulp. But there are so many fun things in the modern world. A little flaw doesn't matter." The heaven and earth mirror trembled slightly and made a slight buzzing sound, as if it was responding to her words. Chu Xiong took the heaven and earth mirror and kissed it. She smiled and said, "I'll go to the modern world in the next world. I want to have fun. Remember to find more interesting places for me. I'll start looking now." Chu Xiong took back the heaven and earth mirror, opened the project documents with a Shao group and started working. Doing business was really interesting. This kind of thing that she had never done before always gave her endless pleasure. Sun Jie was a little upset. She had been a rich lady for so many years and had always been flattered by others. This was the first time she had been criticized so directly. If it were not for the interests of the company, she would not have endured this. However, Sun Jie hated Bai Shui more. What was he? He could not compare with those things outside Yi Zhenhong. He wanted to be promoted without any rules. He should take a look at himself first. At this time, the driver sent Yi Chen back to the Yi family and told Sun Jie about the phone. Sun Jie's phone rang again. She asked someone to send Yi Chen upstairs and hung up the phone directly. Then she blocked all of Bai Shuwei's contact information without saying anything. She understood what Chu Xiong said. With the mother and daughter of the Bai family together, Chu Xiong could not turn back. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to let go of their sisters. Sun Jie understood Chu Xiong's feelings very well. Yi Chen was also a little hesitant. At this time she, as his mother, needed to give him a push from behind. Wasn't she just a vixen? Could she understand her son better than she did? Yi Chen's phone received a call from an unknown number. Sun Jie didn't even need to think to guess that it was Bai Shui who called. The corners of her mouth turned down and her face darkened. Before she could answer the phone, she heard Bai Shui's anxious voice. "Chen, why didn't you answer my call? Where are you? I couldn't find you. I was worried to death." Sun Jie curled her lips mockingly. "Sister Bai, right? Don't you understand that you've been blocked? You're so worried when you open your mouth. Are you bullying my son because he hasn't seen many women?" If it were Chu Xiong, she would have questioned Yi Chen. Sun Jie said coldly, "Sister Bai, only legitimate partners have equal status. A rat that can't see the light of day will always have to bow and scrape. Of course, the Yi family will not raise rats." Yi Chen also promised that he would not continue to play with them. He is going to work in the company tomorrow. If you want to be good for him, don't disturb his work and distract him. If anything happens to him because of you, I won't let go of the people who have ulterior motives for my son. You're on your own now. Sun Jie hung up and blocked this number. She asked the servant to put the phone next to Yi Chen's bed and pondered how to deal with the Bai family's mother and daughter. Since Chu Xiong had put it that way, of course, she had to do something to make her stand clear. Bai Shui looked at the phone with an ugly expression and frowned. Bai Ling knocked on the door and asked, "What's wrong? Did you have a fight with young Master Yi?" Bai Shui said impatiently, "Mom, can you not call him young Master Yi? What you're doing is directly dragging down our status. You have to remember that you're his mother-in-law and his elder. You have to change the habit of calling the servants inferior. Otherwise, how can he adapt to you?" Bai Ling frowned. "Your temper is getting worse. Can't you just be nice? I'm your mother. Now you're complaining that I used to be a servant. If I hadn't been a servant in the Chu family, how would you have had the chance to wear gold and silver and get to know Yi Chen?" "All right, I don't want to argue with you. Yi Chen's parents are very strict with him. I have to think of a way. Otherwise, all my efforts will be in vain. Mom, have you found a house yet? You can move out tomorrow." Bai Ling's eyes widened. "Are you really going to chase me away?" "I'm not chasing you away. You have to bear with it during this critical period. When I marry into the Yi family, I'll buy you a big villa and hire 8 to 10 servants to serve you. Is that okay? I'm annoyed, so don't add to my troubles. If I can't get hold of Yi Chen, both of us will have to starve to death." Bai Ling opened her mouth, but when she saw Bai Shui's irritated expression, she did not say anything and went back to her room to pack her things. Once again she felt regret. Live in a big villa. 8 to 10 servants to serve her. This was the kind of life she lived in the Chu family. Think about how comfortable she used to be. If her daughter married into a rich family, this was the kind of life she could live. Then what was she doing? Now, she was even chased out by her daughter to rent a house. She had not worked for so many years. She was not willing to hire hourly workers to do laundry, cook, and clean the house. Yi Chen did not even give them money. What was she after? Bai Shui pondered for a long time. In the end, she did not dare to take the risk of calling Yi Chen again. Yi Chen would definitely go to the company with Yi Zhenhong. If she really delayed Yi Chen's matters, or if Yi Zhenhong and Sun Jie disliked her even more, then the gains would not make up for the losses. If she waited for 2 more days, she would just treat it as absence makes the heart grow fonder. When her mother moved out, she would prepare a candlelight dinner in the apartment and pull Yi Chen back. However, even though she thought about it this way, Bai Shui still felt very tormented. She saw with her own eyes that Yi Chen chased after Chu Xiong and ran away. She could not get in touch with him. At night, Chu Xiong answered the phone and Yi Chen went to the company. No matter how she looked at it, something must have happened. She knew the gap between her and Chu Xiong. The only thing she could compare with was Yi Chen's true love. She was not afraid of the Yi family interfering. She was only afraid that Yi Chen would waver. In the past, she used to be with Chu Xiong and knew everything about them. She also knew everything about the circle. However, now that she had left Chu Xiong, she had been excluded from the circle and had completely become an ordinary girl. She had no idea what had happened between Yi Chen and Chu Xiong. This feeling of uncertainty was like a knife hanging over her head, making her anxious and unable to sleep at night. She held her phone tightly and could not sleep all night. She could only look at her chat records with Yi Chen to feel slightly relieved. It was the weekend. Chu Xiong and Fong Qing's team had also prepared a complete cooperation plan. The mother and daughter pair had arranged to have tea with Xiao Han. After confirming that the plan did not need to be changed, the two companies would hold a meeting together. Fong Qing forgot to close the window the night before, so she caught a cold and was not very energetic. After going through the important content of the plan with Xiao Han, she said apologetically, "President Xiao, I'm not feeling well. Can I let Chu Xiong and you go through the rest of the details?" Xiao Han hurriedly said, "Of course. President Fong, you don't have to come personally if you're not feeling well. You can go back and rest. There's no problem with the plan. Do you need me to send you back?" Fong Qing waved her hand and said, "No, don't be so polite. President Xiao, I'm really sorry today. I had a few meetings and asked you to wait for me to coordinate with my schedule. Now that it's evening, I can't stand it anymore. I'll go back first. I'll treat you to dinner next time." "President Fong, you're too polite. Take care." Xiao Han acted like a junior in front of Fong Qing. It was easy for people to respect the strong. He admired the abilities of the three Raos of the Chu family, so his attitude became gentler. It was completely different from the cold attitude he had towards the other Raos. Chu Xiong sent Fong Qing to the car and watched the driver drive away. When she came back, she looked at her watch and smiled. "President Xiao, it's time for dinner. May I have the honor of inviting you to dinner?" Chapter 13. Xiao Han gladly agreed to Chu Xiong's invitation. Chu Xiong asked him, "President Xiao, do you like Chinese food or Western food? What kind of food do you want to eat?" "No, Sister Chu, you can choose." Chu Xiong smiled and took out her phone to check. "Then can we go to a hot pot and barbecue food stall? I guess you haven't eaten food that's popular on the internet." Xiao Han's eyebrows moved slightly. He took a sip of tea and replied, "I haven't eaten it before." Chu Xiong showed him the photos of the restaurant and smiled. "I'm joking. How can I let President Xiao eat those in a suit? It's easy to be surrounded. Let's go. The restaurant I booked is very delicious. I just ate there with my mother yesterday." Xiao Han got up and walked out with her. He said, "I've been hearing you say Jiang Feng Dong. I thought you wanted to avoid your relationship. How is that possible? She's my mother. I'm very proud. I just feel that it's not very formal to call her mother during working hours. It's easy to affect everyone. Now that work is over, we should relax." "That's very appropriate. Sorry, I misunderstood you before." Chu Xiong looked at him in surprise and smiled. "Do you think I'm deliberately distancing myself from you?" "Well, I enjoy all the resources and a high starting point that my parents gave me. This is a good thing. It saves me a lot of time to struggle at the grassroots level. It allows me to directly learn a lot of deeper things. I don't want to not be their daughter. If people see my own efforts, the advantage of being born is also an advantage. My efforts will only be more valuable. With a high starting point, my results should be higher. If I can't reach the level that people see, it can only mean that I still have room to continue working hard. I don't care about these things." The two got in the car. Chu Xiong changed into flat shoes and started the car. She smiled. "President Xiao, do you still think of me as a child? Do you think that I'm only a sophomore and have just started my internship in the company and haven't walked out of the ivory tower? Don't misunderstand me. My mother has decided to let me be the contact person for this project. You must believe in my strength. Of course, I will show you my strength more and let you see my strength. Then I'll wait and see." When Xiao Han heard her long string of words, he didn't feel that she was long-winded. Instead, he felt that she was very straightforward. He felt the same way about this matter. When he first came into contact with the business world, he was often compared to his father. People guessed that he would surpass his father, or that he would never be able to compare to his father. Later on, he used his own strength to bring the Shao clan to greater heights, and the praises he received were endless. When outsiders talked about the father and son, they also changed from him being so-and-so's son to him being so-and-so's father. This might be a milestone for many second generations. But to him, whether it was before or after the transformation, he didn't care about these things. Without his father, he wouldn't be who he was today, and without him, his father wouldn't have been able to enjoy his old age. They were partners who made each other successful, not enemies who competed against each other. They were proud of each other and would not feel disappointed because of each other's excellence. Previously, he thought that Chu Xiong was still persisting in her youthful stubbornness and was still somewhat childish. Now he had a whole new level of respect for her. Chu Xiong was even more outstanding than he thought. The two of them were directly welcomed into a room by the restaurant manager. At the door of the room next to theirs, a rich man looked up and saw them. He immediately said, F***CK, and then whispered into his phone, "Guess who I saw? Your ex-fiancé." He was having a video call with Yi Chen. When he turned the camera around, Yi Chen instantly saw Chu Xiong smiling and talking to Xiao Han. He saw the two of them walk into the restaurant side by side. The smile on Yi Chen's face disappeared. "Are you crazy? Why are you showing me this? I'm not going over. You guys go ahead and eat. I'm busy." The rich man widened his eyes and said, "Are you serious? Are you really going to turn over a new leaf and work hard? By the way, didn't you go around looking for Chu Xiong's phone number when you drank too much? She's here now. Aren't you coming?" "I don't. I heard that Chu Xiong had become a strong career woman, but I didn't believe it. Just now, I saw her and Xiao Han together quite harmoniously. It seems like they're both business elites. Why did you hang up?" The rich man put away his cell phone in boredom and went back to his room to continue eating with everyone. On the other side, Yi Chen was staring at the screen of his cell phone that was already secretly chatting. He was no longer in a good mood. He didn't know why either. Maybe it was because he and Chu Xiong had been childhood sweethearts for more than a decade. In the end, Chu Xiong didn't treat him well and even thought that he was trash. However, she smiled so happily at someone else, which made him feel very uncomfortable. Yi Chen opened the photo album on his cell phone and saw a photo of him and Bai Shui smiling sweetly. He wanted to feel happier. However, he realized that his mood didn't improve at all. In fact, he didn't feel any emotions at all. This continued until he found a photo that he had taken of Chu Xiong a long time ago. At that time, it was raining heavily and they were all drenched. He had taken a photo of Chu Xiong's pathetic state and made fun of her. He even got kicked twice by Chu Xiong. The previous photo was of Chu Xiong celebrating her birthday. She was dressed very beautifully and many boys were looking at her. He grabbed a handful of cream paste and smeared it on Chu Xiong's face. Chu Xiong grabbed him and hit him. That photo was taken by someone else and sent to him. It might have been the last time they were happily fooling around. When Yi Chen saw this, the string in his heart was immediately touched. It was as if he could recall the scene from back then when he saw the photo. At that time, Chu Xiong was vivid and lively, and her eyes were filled with him. Unlike now when she saw him, it was like seeing a stranger. He vaguely believed that Chu Xiong really didn't love him anymore. Yi Chen wiped his face in annoyance. He didn't know what he was doing. He was clearly tired of Chu Xiong's personality. Wasn't it the best ending for them to go their separate ways now? Why was he even more annoyed? On Sunday, the Dongfang Group and the Shao Corporation held a project meeting. Feng Qing and Xiao Han each brought a team of elites to participate. As Feng Qing's special assistant and the liaison team leader of the two sides of the project, Chu Xiong sat next to Feng Qing. She listened carefully to the speeches at the meeting and took detailed minutes of the meeting. She quickly wrote down the uncertain points and the inaccuracies of the two sides in a blank document. The meeting lasted for 3 hours. When it was about to end, Feng Qing asked, "Does anyone have any other opinions?" Chu Xiang opened the document and pushed the laptop in front of Feng Qing and Xiao Han. "Chairman Feng, President Xiao, I think there are a few things that need to be clarified." Feng Qing quickly scanned through and looked at Xiao Han. Xiao Han nodded. Chu Xiang projected the document on the screen and got up to discuss it with everyone one by one. There were more than a dozen points in total, all of which were easy to ignore in general and easy to mess up when put into practice. Now that Chu Xiang had listed them out clearly, everyone was able to solve all the problems after some discussion. These might seem like minor issues, but the major issues had already been determined during the numerous meetings between the two parties. It was already not easy for Chu Xiang to discover these points, and it was also in line with her current position. Many of the party's elites, who had originally doubted her abilities, changed their views of her. After all the problems of the project were confirmed, Feng Qing and Xiao Han signed the cooperation contract and got up to shake hands. All the people at the meeting applauded enthusiastically. They were excited that the two companies were about to reach a higher level. When the meeting was over, Feng Qing smiled. "Everyone has worked hard today. I asked Liang to book a restaurant and a KTV. Let's go and have fun and relax. From tomorrow onwards, we will officially start work on the project." "Thank you, Chairman Feng." Most of the people at the meeting were young people. When they heard that they were going to have fun for a night, they immediately became happy. After they left, Xiao Han glanced at his watch and asked politely, "Chairman Feng, are you going to attend Elder Chen's birthday banquet tonight? Shall we go together?" Feng Qing hesitated. Chu Xiang said, "Mom, are you still not feeling well? Don't go. Go home and rest early. I will go for you. The work later is too heavy. Dad is not back yet and I still have homework. You must rest well. I will apologize to Elder Chen on your behalf. Don't worry." Feng Qing thought for a moment and nodded. "That's good. President Xiang doesn't often attend business gatherings. She used to join in the fun as a daughter. Can you help me take care of her?" Xiao Han replied, "Of course. Chairman Feng, rest well. Your health is important." "Okay, then I will trouble you. I will ask Liang to send you to the styling room." Feng Qing originally made an appointment for herself. Now that someone else had changed, she hurriedly asked Special Assistant Liang to communicate with the stylist. Elder Chen used to be a tycoon in the business world. Now he was 80 years old. His family business was mediocre, but Elder Chen still had a high prestige in the business world. Elder Chen's 80th birthday banquet was attended by all the bosses in the business world. Firstly, it was to give Elder Chen face and congratulate him on his birthday. Secondly, it was an opportunity to hold a business banquet. Some collaborations were successful at such banquets. Xiao Han originally made an appointment with his stylist, but Feng Qing had already arranged it. He couldn't refuse her kindness, so he took the same car as Chu Xiang to the stylist's office. Chu Xiang liked red, but the stylist suggested that she shouldn't wear such bright clothes to the birthday banquet. She didn't want to steal the limelight. After looking at all kinds of dresses, Chu Xiang picked one out. "This one is black. It's full of diamonds. Like it. Sister Chu, you have good taste. This dress just arrived today. It looks 10 times better under the lights of the banquet hall. It's not only shiny, but also low-key and mysterious. Do you think of a black goose when you see it? It's really noble and elegant. This dress suits you very well." "Then I'll take this one." Chu Xiang smiled. Dresses and whatnot, didn't they know who was wearing them? Chu Xiang and Xiao Han were both born with a good foundation. They didn't make things difficult for the stylist at all. Soon the stylist finished matching them. Because they were going together, the stylist had specially chosen matching cuffs and earrings. The style of the suit was also very compatible with Chu Xiang's black diamond evening gown. It made their outfits look quite splendid separately, but together they looked beautiful and perfect. When Chu Xiong walked out of the fitting room after changing into the dress, Xiao Han's eyes flashed with amazement. The stylist was stunned. He pushed his glasses up and exclaimed, "Sister Chu has such a strong aura. How is she a black goose? She's a queen." Chapter 14. When Chu Xiong and Xiao Han arrived at the Chen family's villa, most of the guests had already arrived. In the Chen family's banquet hall, the guests stood in groups of 2s and 3s and chatted. Everyone had the perfect smile on their faces. The Yi family had arrived earlier than them. Since Yi Chen had entered the company, they brought him along this time. He even brought a female companion with him. Sun Jie held Yi Zhenhong's arm and walked in front. Yi Chen and his female companion followed behind. His female companion was wearing a pure white gown. She had a princess-styled black curly hair and a broken diamond hair clip in her hair. She looked like an innocent princess. The Chen family welcomed them and stood not far from the door to exchange greetings. Someone saw Yi Chen's female companion and asked curiously, "Is that Chu Xiong? Why did I hear that their families broke off the engagement?" "I don't think. That's Chu Xiong. I don't remember Chu Xiong looking like this. But I haven't seen the daughter of the Chu family in a long time. I can't remember clearly either. Could it really be Chu Xiong?" A daughter from the same school as Chu Xiong took a few glances and sneered. "How could that be Chu Xiong? She's clearly a combination of Chu Xiong and that nanny." She had a straightforward personality, and her family was not inferior to the Yi family. She was not afraid of offending people. She took out her phone and opened the campus post to show it to them. "Chu Xiong's aura is getting stronger and stronger recently. But this one by Shui is Yi Chen's nanny's daughter. She looks like a gentle white lotus. Then what's Yi Chen doing? His female companion looks like Chu Xiong and dresses like a white lotus. Does he mean that he likes both of them? I think there's something wrong with his brain. Don't talk about him anymore. He's talking about trash in our school. Chu Xiong despises him so much that she doesn't even look at him. We don't know about these things. We're quite interested. Enlon, you have more." A few of the older sisters gathered around Enlon. They were all in their teens and 20s and were very interested in this gossip. At this moment, 2 more people came in through the door. Enlon looked up and immediately smiled. "The real deal is here. Quick, look, this is the difference between the real thing and the fake. She's like a queen. Yi Chen's dog eyes will definitely be fooled." Chu Xiong held Xiao Han's arm and walked in. The first thing the guests saw was Chu Xiong, and then they realized that the person next to her was Xiao Han. This was too inconceivable. There was actually someone who could stand shoulder to shoulder with Xiao Han, and yet still be able to surpass him. She didn't look like Xiao Han's female companion at all. Everyone couldn't take their eyes off her. Chu Xiong's dressing today was a big change compared to the past. Many people who couldn't recognize Chu Xiong had already started to ask the people around them, who was this outstanding girl? Chu Xiong was wearing a sleeveless V-neck mermaid gown. It was black and studded with fine diamonds. Her wine-red hair was also dyed black with disposable hair dye. It was straight and draped over her shoulders. Her hair hung behind her ears, revealing her bright and elegant facial features and the dazzling black diamond earrings on her earlobes. She gave off a clean and neat feeling, which was completely different from the princess in the castle. Yi Chen's expression changed the moment he saw her. He didn't expect Chu Xiong to come. His first thought was to hide his female companion next to him so that Chu Xiong wouldn't see her. The next second, he remembered that Chu Xiong was no longer his fiancée. He didn't need to consider Chu Xiong's feelings. This kind of habit formed over the years was simply inexplicable. He was also very uncomfortable with Chu Xiong's change in style. He liked gentle girls, and Chu Xiong was gradually drifting away from the girl in his memory. The Chen family and Yi Zhenhong apologized and greeted Chu Xiang and Xiao Han with a smile. He also didn't recognize Chu Xiang. He first greeted Xiao Han, then looked at Chu Xiang and asked in confusion, "President Xiao, this is..." Xiao Han introduced her to him. "This is the daughter of Chairman Chu and Chairman Fong of the Dongfang Group, Sister Chu Xiang." Chu Xiang smiled and said, "President Chen, because my mother isn't feeling well today, she can't attend the banquet. I'm here on behalf of my parents. Please forgive me if I'm rude." "So it's Sister Chu. Sister Chu is too polite. Chairman Feng's health is important. Please come in. My father is chatting with a few uncles inside. You two can meet him together." President Chen's attitude was slightly lower than theirs. He knew that the Chen family was already going downhill, so he didn't put on airs at all. After they walked a few steps, a new guest arrived. President Chen apologized and invited them to go in by themselves. He then went to welcome the new guest. Xiao Han lowered his head slightly and whispered to Chu Xiang, "President Chen is old Chen's third son. He's tactful and very good at making connections. However, he has a good character and never hits people when they're down. He's a person you can make friends with." Chu Xiang tilted her head and smiled at him. Is this the benefit of being a beauty? President Xiao wasn't so enthusiastic before. The two of them were very close, and their breaths mingled for a moment. Xiao Han turned his head and looked forward. He said calmly, "I promised Chairman Feng that I would take care of you." Chu Xiang nodded. "So that's how it is." Xiao Han subconsciously explained. "Of course, it's also because I admire Sister Chu very much." Chu Xiang smiled. "I also admire President Xiao very much." The two of them walked into the crowd. Without a chance to talk, they took out gifts together and gave them to old Chen. Xiao Han introduced Chu Xiang again and helped her get to know old Chen and a few other famous people in the business world. When they saw Xiao Han's actions, they had a better understanding of the cooperation between the Xiao Corporation and the Dongfang Group. The two families must have cooperated very smoothly and closely, and they got along very well. Otherwise, Xiao Han, who had always been cold, wouldn't support the daughter of the Chu family like this. Looking at the two of them, who looked like a golden couple, many people had some vague guesses about their relationship. The Yi family came one step behind them and also wished old Chen a happy birthday. Sun Jie stepped forward and held Chu Xiang's hand. She smiled kindly and said, Xiang, you've become a busy person recently. You don't even have time to accompany Auntie to go shopping. I finally get to see you today." Chu Xiang took a glass of champagne from the waiter and took her hand out of Sun Jie's hand. She smiled distantly and said, "Mrs. Yi, long time no see." The words Mrs. Yi instantly distanced them. Those who knew that the two families had broken off were all paying attention to them. At a glance, they understood Chu Xiang's attitude. It also made the Yi family seem very shameless. Yi Chen cheated on them, and they still had the nerve to approach him as if nothing had happened. Ordinary people really couldn't do that. When they saw Yi Chen's female companion, many people muttered in their hearts, what was the meaning of this? Wasn't it disgusting to get a female companion who looked like Chu Xiang to come over? Chu Xiang and Xiao Han chatted with old Chen for a while. The two of them walked to the side, and people who wanted to cooperate with the two families came forward to greet them. Xiao Han introduced Chu Xiang to many people, but Chu Xiang ignored Yi Chen from beginning to end, as if he was just a vassal of the Yi family. Yi Chen himself felt this even more strongly. When he got closer, he saw that the black diamond earrings on Chu Xiang's earlobes and the black diamond cuffs on Xiao Han's earlobes were a couple. He also saw that the two of them occasionally talked so close to each other. Chu Xiang smiled happily at Xiao Han. Although Xiao Han didn't smile, his expression was obviously much gentler than when he faced others. He felt uncomfortable, as if his heart was blocked by wet cotton. He looked at them from afar and drank glass after glass. Chu Xiang, as the heir of the Dongfang Group, and Xiao Han, as the head of the Xiao family, had many people greeting them. Only he, who was the heir of the Yi family, was ignored. The people who occasionally came to greet him were some rich second-generation heirs who hung out with him. Yi Chen saw Chu Xiong walk to the bathroom alone. He finished the wine in his glass and followed her. He didn't even hear his female companion calling him. He was already a little drunk. He leaned against the wall outside the bathroom and waited. When he saw Chu Xiong come out, he reached out to stop her. "Chu Xiong, are you with Xiao Han?" Chu Xiong narrowed her eyes and said coldly, "Who gave you the courage to harass me again and again?" Yi Chen reached out to pull her. "I saw it. The two of you are very close. Others also saw you go to the restaurant with him several times. You suddenly broke off the engagement because you like him, right? You're the one who fell in love with someone else. What right do you have to accuse me of cheating? What right do you have to call me trash in school?" Chu Xiong grabbed his outstretched fingers and twisted them upwards. Yi Chen immediately bent down and widened his eyes in pain. "Let go. Let go." Chu Xiong threw him to the ground and raised her foot to step on his chest. The thin heel of her shoe was aimed at his heart. She said in a low and dangerous voice, "I warned you that that was the last time. Since you don't want to live, I'll fulfill your wish." Chu Xiong's eyes flashed with real killing intent. Yi Chen was shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. He couldn't make a sound and only felt a chill down his spine. Xiao Han walked out from the corner. Chu Xiong calmly withdrew her foot and straightened her skirt. She said to Yi Chen expressionlessly, "I want the Yi family's project. From now on, all the projects of the Yi family will belong to the Dongfang group." Chu Xiong walked around Yi Chen to Xiao Han. She smiled and returned to her harmless appearance. "President Xiao, are you here to see me?" Xiao Han glanced at Yi Chen and bent his arm for her to hold. He walked as he said, "You haven't been back for a long time. Came to see you." Chu Xiong smiled and looked at him. "President Zhao's concern is really awkward. You can say that you were worried about me when you saw that scum disappeared." Xiao Han thought of Chu Xiong's dark goddess appearance and couldn't help but smile. "It seems that my worry is unnecessary. You can solve it yourself. Are you really going to steal the Yi family's project?" "Course. I didn't want to pay attention to them. After all, I have a lot of things to do and don't want to waste time on them. But they don't know what's good for them and insist on making trouble for me. Then I'll deal with them first." Chu Xiong said indifferently as if she was angry with them. The confidence in her voice showed that she didn't consider that she couldn't destroy the Yi family. Xiao Han leaned close to her and whispered, "I just received insider news. Once the documents are released, the Yi family's bid will become an important project and the profits will be very high." Chu Xiong winked playfully. "Then let's rob them together and split the profits." Xiao Han looked at her from a close distance and his eyes lit up. He smiled and said, "Okay, let's work together." Yi Chen lay on the ground and watched their backs disappear. He clutched his heart and couldn't get rid of the fear for a long time. He didn't understand what he was afraid of, but at that moment, he really felt that Chu Xiong was going to pierce his heart with her high heels. Chu Xiong didn't love him. He had never understood so clearly that Chu Xiong really didn't love him. After the extreme fear, there was a huge sense of loss. Yi Chen's heart was empty and desperately needed something to fill it up. His female companion came over and exclaimed when she saw him in such a sorry state. She hurried forward to help him. "Young Master Yi, what happened to you?" Yi Chen stared at her face for a long time and stood up with her help. He held her soft hand tightly. "I should be like you." Chapter 15. Yi Chen woke up in the hotel the next day. He woke up from his hangover as soon as he saw the woman beside him. All the memories from the previous night came back to him. He no longer felt as scared as he did at that time. Now that he thought about it, he felt that it was because he was drunk and his mind was not clear. The woman on the bed also woke up. Yi Chen frowned and pushed her away. "You can leave now. I'll talk to young Master Zhang later and give you the female lead role." Thank you, young Master Yi, the woman replied happily. She quickly put on her clothes and left. Yi Chen stood under the showerhead and rinsed himself with cold water. His mind was in a mess. When he first fell in love with Bai Shuwei, he struggled for a long time. But last night when he was with this woman, he did not feel sorry for Bai Shuwei. Yi Chen recalled Chu Xiang's stunning appearance at the banquet. Her domineering aura was like a flower bud that had found the most suitable soil. It bloomed to its heart's content and bloomed brilliantly, making people unable to take their eyes off her. He thought he liked Bai Shuwei's gentle personality. In the end, he realized that Bai Shuwei was as tasteless as water when compared to Chu Xiang. He thought he wanted Chu Xiang to be gentle like water. In the end, after this night, he realized that the obedient Chu Xiang did not have a soul at all. Only the real Chu Xiang could attract everyone's attention and show off her dazzling charm. He felt sad when Chu Xiang ignored him. He felt jealous when Chu Xiang smiled at Xiao Hanxiao. Yi Chen was shocked to realize that he had subconsciously regarded Chu Xiang as his wife. It had never changed. He took a wrong path. It was not until Chu Xiang left that he realized that the person he really loved was Chu Xiang. Yi Chen wiped his face and punched the wall in pain. His phone rang relentlessly for a few minutes. Yi Chen went out to pick up his phone in frustration. When he saw that it was his mother, he suppressed his anger and said, "Mom, what's the matter?" Sun Jie said angrily, "You're asking me what's the matter? Where have you been fooling around? I told you to coax Chu Xiang more, but you brought a celebrity away. Are you heartless? All the good words I put in for you were in vain. Are you trying to piss me off on purpose? Let me tell you, don't mess with me. I will never acknowledge that nanny." Yi Chen took a deep breath and lay down on the bed. He said sadly, "Mom, it's my fault. The person I like is Chu Xiang." But Chu Xiang would not turn back. She was with Xiao Han. "I'm very annoyed. Stop bothering me." Sun Jie was amused as soon as she heard it. Can your relationship with Chu Xiang be compared to others? You should immediately break up with whatever nanny or celebrity and coax Chu Xiang properly. As long as you pester Chu Xiang more and use the trick of injuring yourself to gain her confidence, she will definitely turn back. Sun Jie said a lot more. Yi Chen listened to her and built up his confidence bit by bit through her nagging. He was someone who would do whatever he set his mind to, regardless of what others thought of him. Just like how he insisted on breaking off the engagement, he now wanted to resume his relationship with Chu Xiang. Yi Chen did not even go to see Bai Shuwei. He directly called Bai Shuwei and told him that he did not like her anymore. He would give her the apartment as a breakup fee. Bai Shuwei did not even have time to ask before he was blacklisted again. It was only then that Yi Chen found out that his mother had used his phone to blacklist Bai Shuwei. He thought about how he did not realize this in the past few days. It was enough to prove that Bai Shuwei was not as important to him as he thought. This made him even more determined to make his choice. Bai Shuwei suffered for 2 days. Her ominous premonition turned into reality. She could not find Yi Chen no matter how hard she tried. She was so angry that she smashed everything in the apartment that could be smashed. What use did she have for an apartment? It could not compare to the apartment that Chu Xiang had prepared for her. Didn't she betray Chu Xiang and hook up with Yi Chen so that she could marry into the Yi family and become Mrs. Yi? Otherwise, why would she offend the Chu family? Bai Shuwei thought of the scene when Yi Chen chased Chu Xiang out on the weekend. She went to the school parking lot early to wait for him. Chu Xiang drove to the school. As soon as she got out of the car, she was stopped by Bai Shuwei. She put on a cold face and looked at Bai Shuwei, who instantly shed tears as if she was acting. Bai Shuwei choked and said, Xiang, Ah Chen broke up with me. He gave me the apartment as a breakup fee. Do you know why? Xiang, I can't find him. I don't know why he broke up with me. He was fine last Friday. Fortunately, we were going on a trip to relax. Chu Xiang pushed her away and walked forward. Scumbags and B** cheese are the most disgusting things. Get lost. Bai Shuwei staggered and almost fell. She quickly caught up with Chu Xiong and said, "Did Chen go to find you? I know he can't forget you. I've let you down. I want to fulfill your wish, but I've given him everything. I might even be pregnant with his child. I beg you, don't look back. Don't fight with me for him, okay?" Chu Xiong stopped, turned around, took off her sunglasses and looked at her up and down. You are pregnant with Yi Chen's child, and he dumped you again?" "Yes, Xiong, I know, I'm sorry for you. I've always regretted it and blamed myself, but I'm already Chen's woman. We haven't been using contraception. I've been feeling sleepy and nauseous these days. It's very likely that I'm pregnant. I really can't lose him. Xiong, you have everything. I only have Chen. I beg you, give him to me, okay? I really have no choice." "I'm sorry." Chu Xiong pinched her chin and lifted her face. She looked straight into her eyes and said, "Do you know why Yi Chen gave you a breakup fee? Because your groveling appearance makes you look like a plaything, and you're only worth an apartment. You can take my man away from me, but you can never take away my dignity and status. Even if you're lucky enough to marry into the Yi family, you'll just be a scumbag. You'll be a scumbag for the rest of your life. You'll never experience the feeling of strength and freedom." Yi Chen drove into the parking lot. When he saw them, he quickly got out of the car and ran over. "What's going on?" Chu Xiong shook off Bai Shui's face, took out a tissue and wiped her hands. She threw the tissue at Yi Chen's face and said coldly, "Control your dog. Don't forget what I said. I don't mind making the Yi family bankrupt sooner." Chu Xiong turned around and left. Yi Chen was in a hurry to chase after her. Chu Xiong. Bai Shui hugged him and cried, Chen, did you see how she humiliated me? What's wrong with you? Why did you break up with me?" "Bai Shui." Yi Chen pushed her away and frowned. "Why are you looking for Chu Xiong? Don't tell me she's looking for you. This is the parking lot. Why are you here if you don't have a car?" Bai Shui looked at him and said, "I'm here to wait for you. You didn't answer my calls or reply to my messages, so I could only come here to wait for you. In the end, Chu Xiong mocked and humiliated me the moment she saw me." She shed tears and said weakly, Chen, I know I've let Chu Xiong down. She deserves to humiliate me. I betrayed Chu Xiong for you and left the Chu family. I have nothing left. I only have you. You can't treat me like this." Yi Chen felt sorry for her when he saw her like this. But for some reason, he thought of his father's words. If the mother and daughter of the Bai family could betray the Chu family, they could betray the Yi family in the future. His heartache immediately faded. Besides, he was very sure that his feelings for Bai Shui were just a momentary mistake. The person he loved was Chu Xiong. He couldn't continue to be entangled with Bai Shui. Yi Chen made up his mind and said, "Just take it that I've let you down. I've already made it up to you. I'll give you another $2 million. Don't pester me in the future. That's all." Bai Shui grabbed Yi Chen's arm and cried, "What if I have your child? Abort it." Yi Chen shook her off, parked the car, and went straight to Chu Xiong's classroom. Bai Shui was thrown to the ground by him. Seeing that he left without even looking at her, she felt a sense of hatred in her heart. She had tried so hard to seduce him, but he had changed his mind inexplicably. Just like how she had been secretly pleased with herself before, it was all wishful thinking. The two of them could still reconcile after fighting. Moreover, it was a marriage between two powerful people in the business world. She was the only one who had become the biggest joke. Bai Shui gritted her teeth and stood up. If she could defeat Chu Xiong once, she could do it again. She must become Mrs. Yi. Yi Chen and Bai Shui entered the classroom one after another, but they didn't see Chu Xiong. Yi Chen couldn't sit still after waiting for class to start. He ran out of the classroom to look for Chu Xiong. 20 minutes after class started, Chu Xiong arrived late. She explained to the teacher that she had gone to the good staff office and was delayed. Bai Shui's heart skipped a beat. She instantly remembered that she had been publicly criticized and warned last time. She couldn't listen to the class at all. She was in a mess. Before she could think of anything, she saw the tutor appear at the door with a serious face. He apologized to the teacher and said coldly, "Bai Shui, follow me to the office." The tutor was obviously suppressing his anger. All the students in the classroom looked at Bai Shui. First, Chu Xiong went to look for the tutor. Then the tutor went to look for Bai Shui. There was definitely a connection. The tutor was so angry. Might be a big deal. A student's eyes darted around. She hid under the table and sent a voice message to her roommate, who was from a different major, asking her to check on Bai Shui. The students around her heard it and paid attention to it. They asked her to inform them as soon as she received a reply. Bai Shui followed the tutor. When he arrived at the office, he saw that Yi Chen was also there. Besides them, the dean of students was also there. The tutor played a recording of what Bai Shui said to Chu Xiong in the parking lot. It turned out that Chu Xiong had gone to the tutor to give the recording to him. She accused Bai Shui and Yi Chen of harassing her again, and suspected that there was a dirty deal between them. The recording was very clear. It recorded how Bai Shui cried about being abandoned by Yi Chen, and how she was pregnant with Yi Chen's child. Bai Shui's expression changed. He rushed over to snatch the recording, but the tutor stopped him. He insisted that everyone listen to the recording. Yi Chen's face darkened. He asked, "Didn't you say that Chu Xiong humiliated you? Why did it sound like you were the one who kept harassing her? Which of your words are true and which are false?" He grabbed Bai Shui's arm and walked out. "Let's go. We'll go to the hospital for a checkup now. I don't believe that you're pregnant." The dean of students shouted sternly, "Stop right there. Don't leave until you know what happened. Call your parents over." The students who were eavesdropping outside the door widened their eyes. They quickly ran to the bathroom and sent a voice message to the students in class. Chapter 16. There was an uproar in the classroom. The teacher frowned and knocked on the table with a serious face. "What are you doing?" The students stopped talking, but they all looked down at their phones to read the latest gossip on the post. Bai Shui was pregnant with Yi Chen's child. The most important thing was that Bai Shui was dumped. She cried and begged Chu Xiong not to steal her man. Chu Xianglai sat in the middle seat today. The student closest to Chu Xiong couldn't help but ask, "Chu Xiong, is this true? You and Yi Chen made up?" Another student came over and said, "Chu Xiong did a good job. She made the third party cry. We'll take back the same way she took him away." Chu Xiong glanced at the post on their phones and said calmly, "The school will tell us whether these things are true or not. But the trash will be thrown into the trash can. I'm not interested in getting involved." The surrounding students didn't understand at first, but after thinking carefully, they realized that the trash was Yi Chen. Chu Xiong meant that she didn't want to steal Yi Chen. Then what was wrong with Bai Shui? Why was she bothering Chu Xiong about their relationship? They couldn't attend this class. The teacher packed up and left, leaving them free to revise. The teacher was very dissatisfied with the result of the class. After he understood the reason, he went to the guidance counselor's office to report the situation to her. The dean of teaching knew that the news had spread, and his expression became worse. Bai Shui was suspected to be pregnant, and she was suspected to have made an improper transaction to obtain an apartment. The whole school knew about this, and it had a bad impact on the school. If she wasn't severely punished this time, wouldn't the warning last time be a joke? Who would take the school's authority seriously in the future? What about the school's spirit? The dean of teaching ordered Yi Chen and Bai Shui to urge their parents to come to school immediately. Their parents were local, and they had to come to school to solve the problem. Otherwise they would be suspended. Bai Ling rushed to school and bumped into Sun Jie downstairs. She subconsciously called out Mrs. Yi, and wanted to shake hands with Sun Jie, who knew that when Sun Jie saw her, her eyes were full of disgust as if she saw a fly. When the parents arrived, the dean of teaching called Chu Xiong over and asked the tutor to play the recording again. The words that made Bai Shuwei feel ashamed rang out again. Bai Shuwei's face turned red. He was too ashamed to show his face in front of Sun Jia. She quickly averted her gaze and looked at Chu Xiong with tears in her eyes. Xiong, why did you record it? Did you do it on purpose? Everyone in the office looked at Chu Xiong. After all, recording was not common in daily life. It was inevitable that people would think more about it. Chu Xiong nodded without hesitation. Yes, I did it on purpose. She crossed her long legs and leaned against the sofa. She crossed her arms in front of her chest and looked cold. Bai Shuwei, who was confronting her, almost couldn't continue asking. She took it for granted. Bai Shuwei shed tears. Sorry. I know I did something wrong, but what will others think of Chen if you do this? Dean, it's all my fault. Please punish me. Chu Xiong ignored her. She looked at the Dean of Teaching and said, Dean, I've read the law about how annoying people should be dealt with if they repeatedly disturb others. There's a personal restraining order that is very good. Unfortunately, our country doesn't have it on campus. Can the school keep these two people away from me? When I saw Bai Shuwei today, I turned on the recording. It's obvious that she's going to say something pretentious again. This recording is the evidence that she's harassing me. Dean, I believe the school knows that whatever happened between the two of them has nothing to do with me. I hope that I can have a good learning environment in this school and not be harassed endlessly. Sun Jia pulled Yi Chen to her side. Yi Chen apologized to Xiong. How much trouble have you caused for Xiong? Why can't you wait until after school in private? Mrs. Yi, please don't misunderstand. I won't have any interaction with Yi Chen, whether it's during school or private time. Chu Xiong didn't give her any face. She took her bag and stood up. Dean, that's my attitude. Can I leave now? Yes, Chu Xiong. The final exam is coming soon. I hope you won't be distracted by these things. The school will definitely consider your request seriously. Thank you, Dean. Chu Xiong thanked her politely. Then she ignored Sun Jie's shouts and left the office. Sun Jie vented all her anger on the mother and daughter of the Bai family. She put on airs and mocked them. She didn't use any vulgarities when she scolded them. Bai Ling always felt that she was inferior to her. She didn't dare to say anything. She could only keep saying that Bai Shuwei ruined her reputation for Yi Chen, and that Yi Chen couldn't abandon her. On one side, they were high and mighty and looked down on Yi Chen. On the other side, they were complaining about their grievances and moral blackmailing. Sun Jie wanted to say a few words casually and leave quickly. She didn't want to embarrass herself here. However, Bai Ling didn't let them leave. She insisted that Yi Chen be responsible for Bai Shuwei. The more they did, the more Yi Chen couldn't get away. Sun Jie was furious. In the end, the dean insisted that Yi Chen and Bai Shuwei go home for the holidays. They only had to come back to take the final exam this semester. As for the specific punishment, it would be decided after the school's discussion. As soon as Yi Chen left school, he dragged Bai Shuwei to the hospital for a checkup. Bai Shuwei didn't have any money at all. Bai Shuwei explained anxiously. I didn't say that I was pregnant from the beginning to the end. I just thought that it was possible that Chu Xiong's recording made others misunderstand. Didn't you say that to make Chu Xiong misunderstand? You also didn't use contraception with Chu Xiong. You deliberately made her uncomfortable, didn't you? Yi Chen saw that she still wanted to explain, so he impatiently stopped her. He sneered and said, I don't care how many excuses you have. In short, you succeeded in making me uncomfortable. It just so happens that the house hasn't been transferred yet. You can just pack your things and leave. I can't have any improper transactions with you. By the way, the 2 million yuan is also gone. Don't bother me in the future. Now that I think about what you said in the past, I feel disgusted. Yi Chen didn't look for gentleness in Bai Shuwei anymore. He looked at her as if he was looking at a stranger. He could analyze her rationally. Comparing the words in Bai Shuwei's recording and the way she inverted right and wrong in front of him, He could easily recall the countless times that Bai Shuwei had tried to drive a wedge between him and Chu Xiong in the past. When he thought about how he had been deceived by her, he hated her to death. How could he still be nice to her? Bai Shuwei almost blurted out a lot of curses, but she had nothing left. She forced herself to hold back her anger and maintain a wronged expression. Then she put on a strong smile and said, "I know that you won't believe me no matter what I say. I was wrong today. When I saw you chasing after Chu Xiong, I was so scared. After that, your mother on the phone. No, I couldn't reach you. I let my imagination run wild. When I heard that you wanted to break up this morning, I was completely confused. I ran to Chu Xiong and said a lot of nonsense. Now that I think about it, I feel ashamed. I'm sorry, Uchin. I didn't expect things to get so serious. I'll go back and move out now. Actually, I've already asked my mother to move out. I want to spend some time with you. There's not much in the apartment." She smiled and wiped away her tears, revealing the sweet look that Yi Chen liked the most. "Don't worry. I won't pester you. I was the one who ruined your relationship with Xiang Xiang. I'm sorry for her. It's good that you two can reconcile. Goodbye." Bai Shuwei looked at Yi Chen seriously for a long time, as if she wanted to engrave the person she loved the most in her heart. Then she left without looking back. Her back was straight, and she walked away without any reluctance. Even from the back she looked very beautiful. In fact, Bai Shuwei gritted her teeth tightly, and there was no expression on her face. She hailed a taxi, and when she got into the car she looked back. As expected, Yi Chen was still standing there. He seemed to be in a daze, but he also seemed to be looking at her. She understood Yi Chen. Although Chu Xiong had given her too many surprises recently, making her feel that she no longer understood Chu Xiong, she was still very sure that she understood Yi Chen. Yi Chen was the kind of person who didn't know how to cherish things. He could never see the beauty that he already had, and he always regretted it after losing it. Though he said he disliked his parents' conduct, he had, in fact, imperceptibly learned their ways by word and example. However, he insisted on finding the person he really liked, and this gave him an excellent excuse to cheat. He lost himself in it and didn't even know what he wanted. It was a perfect example of what it meant to say that a wife is inferior to a concubine is inferior to a mistress, and a mistress is inferior to a mistress. Now, she was retreating in order to advance. When Yi Chen was tired of her and doubted her, she left in the most beautiful manner. How was she different from Chu Xiong in the past? If Yi Chen could forget Chu Xiong's shortcomings and fall in love with Chu Xiong again, he could forget his doubts about her and care about her again. The words she left behind had given enough information. It was Yi Chen who abandoned her and chased after Chu Xiong. It was Yi Chen's mother who blacklisted her and humiliated her. It was Chu Xiong who made the recording of their private affairs public. She was just an infatuated person who was suddenly abandoned after her sense of security was destroyed. Only this time she was confused and made a mistake, but she sobered up in time and felt relieved. Her reputation in school was ruined. She didn't want anything and simply moved away. She didn't complain that she had nothing. She became the biggest loser in this love triangle. These were enough to prove that she was really kind and didn't care about it. She really loved him and really felt sorry for Chu Xiong. As long as she seized the opportunity in the future, Yi Chen would definitely feel sorry for her and return to her willingly. Bai Shuwei rehearsed what would happen after countless times in her heart. She calmly moved to Bai Ling's rented apartment. She didn't expect that she would fall in love with Chu Xiong. She took the wrong step. She thought that she would anger Chu Xiong and get slapped by Chu Xiong. She didn't expect that Chu Xiong was completely different from the past. Her reputation was ruined. She decided not to get close to Chu Xiong and only focus on Yi Chen. This way there wouldn't be any more accidents. In the afternoon, when it was almost dusk, Chu Xiong received a call from teacher Liang. The tutor told her that the results of the investigation were out. Yi Chen and Bai Shuwei would be recorded as demerits. They were not allowed to go to school this semester and had to stay in school for the next semester. They were not allowed to harass her in any way during their stay in school. If they made one more mistake, they would be expelled. However, the school would clarify that Yi Chan and Bai Shuwei had broken up as a normal couple. There was no improper transaction and there was no love. Chu Xiong didn't care about this at all. Anyway, Bai Shuwei would be at a disadvantage even if there was no transaction. As long as they didn't disturb her, it would be fine. She hung up the phone and waved the document in her hand to Xiao Han, who was on the other side of the computer screen. "How is it? Is my plan feasible?" Xiao Han clasped his hands on the table and looked at her through the screen. He said slowly, "There are a few things that need to be changed. Come to my place. I just got a bottle of good wine. We can celebrate your peaceful campus life." Chu Xiong rested her chin on her hand and smiled. "President Xiao, has anyone ever told you that you are very charming? It's dangerous to drink with a woman at night." Xiao Han lowered his head slightly and slowly untied his tie. He looked up and asked her, "Sister Chu, do you want to come over?" Chu Xiong looked at him and smiled. "Of course, I can't let President Xiao down." Chapter 17. Chu Xiong turned off the video, looked at the documents and thought for a while. Then she chuckled. She didn't know when Xiao Han found out that she was looking at his tie. He was seducing her through the screen. She went to the cloakroom and picked a red dress with suspenders. The thin straps hung on her snow-white shoulders, as if they could break at any time. The deep V-neck showed the beauty of the dress, and the thin material outlined her beautiful figure. The hem of the dress fluttered when she moved slightly. Chu Xiong looked left and right in front of the mirror and smiled. She was also very seductive and worthy of the red wine that Xiao Xiao had specially prepared. Chu Xiong found a white shawl and tied it on her shoulders. The seductive charm was covered in an instant. She looked just like a fashionable beauty. Chu Xiong brushed her hair with satisfaction, put the documents in her bag and drove to Xiao Han's residence. Xiao Han didn't like outsiders at home. He had always lived alone. His home was in Yulong Bay, not far from the Xiao group. Chu Xiong entered the room and saw a room with black, white, and gray hues. Everything was neatly arranged and clean. She raised her eyebrows and looked around the room. She smiled and said, "Mr. Xiao, this style of decoration is called cold and indifferent. Usually, the owner who lives here is very strict and restrained. Are you the same?" Xiao Han had taken off his suit and tie. He was wearing a simple black shirt with the top two buttons unbuttoned. He looked mysterious and happy. He stood behind the bar and poured the red wine into the decanter. With a faint smile he said, "Less is more. Restraint may be because there is a deeper desire hidden inside." Chu Xiong walked over and looked at the red wine. She leaned against the bar and said, "It really makes people want to explore it. Sister Chu, you have a lot of opportunities." Xiao Han looked at his watch and said calmly, "It's still early. Let's wait for the red wine and revise the proposal. Okay, this is the first time I have really cooperated with Mr. Xiao. I'm looking forward to what kind of sparks we can create." Chu Xiong fiddled with her earrings and followed him with a smile. The two of them came to the study. Xiao Han walked in front and pulled a chair next to his office chair. He sat down and turned on the computer. "I have some information here. Sister Chu, let's take a look." "Okay." Chu Xiong sat beside him and looked at the information on the screen. In order to snatch the Yi family's bid, they had already contacted each other many times and had a general understanding of the situation. What Xiao Han showed her was the secret information he had obtained from the inside. According to this information, they needed to change part of the plan. Xiao Han had been in the battlefield of the business world for a long time, and he was very experienced in dealing with all kinds of unexpected situations with ease. On the other hand, Chu Xiong was considered a newcomer in the workplace. She was smart and capable, but it was inevitable that she would not consider things thoroughly. Xiao Han filled in the gaps and explained to her the necessity of doing so, as well as the drawbacks of some of her ideas. Chu Xiong memorized his words very seriously. She drew inferences and asked a lot of questions. Xiao Han gave her solutions based on the hypothetical situation she described. After listening, Chu Xiong came up with new questions. The topic had gradually deviated from the original project. Xiao Han glanced at the time. When she was about to continue the discussion, he leaned over to take the folder on the other side of Chu Xiong. His chest was close to Chu Xiong, almost touching her. Chu Xiong smelled a very light perfume. It was very refreshing. It reminded her that she was here to drink red wine tonight. Xiao Han opened the folder and handed it to her. This is my latest bid plan. There is also the core content of the bid. Sister Chu, take a look. Chu Xiong did not take it. She leaned sideways on the armrest of the chair. She was only a centimeter away from him. She tilted her head to look at the document in his hand. Xiao Han took the folder. She flipped through the document page by page. Neither of them spoke, but the atmosphere became a little ambiguous between breaths. Chu Xiong nodded slightly. She turned to look at him and smiled. Very good. I like it very much. Xiao Han put his arm on the back of her chair. At this time, his other hand put the document on the table. His posture of supporting the table seemed to trap Chu Xiong in the chair. He lowered his head slightly and looked at Chu Xiong. He moved closer to her and whispered, "It is my honor to be liked by Sister Chu." The two of them slowly moved closer to each other. When there was only a paper between them, Chu Xiong's phone suddenly rang. Chu Xiong immediately straightened up and answered, "Mom." Feng Qing smiled and said, Xiong, where are you? Your father's plane will arrive in more than an hour. How about we go to the airport to pick him up and have a sumptuous dinner? Dad is coming back today. Chu Xiong looked at the expressionless Xiao Han and smiled. Okay, I'll go to the company to pick you up. Let's go to the airport together. Okay, I'll wait for you. Drive slowly. Got it, Mom. Chu Xiong smiled at Xiao Han apologetically. Sorry, family time. I'll taste your red wine in the future if I have the chance. I'll go first. Xiao Han buttoned his collar and got up. I'll drive you. Chu Xiong took her bag and walked to the door. She turned back and smiled at Xiao Han. Mr. Xiao, there are still many things I don't understand about this plan. I'll ask you out for dinner instead. Okay. Xiao Han crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He watched Chu Xiong turn around and walk up the stairs without hesitation. He went to the bar and poured a glass of red wine. He gently swirled the glass and took a sip. Then he put down the glass and went back to the study. He informed his assistant to hold a video conference. The members of the project team immediately wailed. Chu Xiong drove to the airport. When she passed by the store, she changed into a fresh set of clothes and put the red dress into a bag. Feng Qing had dressed up carefully. She looked very elegant and charming. Chu Xiong smiled and praised her. Mom, you're so beautiful today. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Mom, have you been missing Dad for a long time? We've been married for so long. What's there to miss? Feng Qing said. After she got into the car, she opened the makeup mirror and touched up her lipstick. Chu Xiong smiled and said, I have a feeling that I might be the third wheel. I should find my own program today. Two People's World is called Two People's World. Three People's World is called Tuan Tuan Yuan Yuan. Feng Qing saw the red dress in the bag and asked casually, You went shopping? No, I had a date with a beauty, so I dressed up. But when I received Mother's call, I immediately came over. Chu Xiong said it as if she was joking. Feng Qing didn't take it seriously. She thought it was a party between girls. When they picked up Chu Dongqi, the family of three went to the top floor of the tallest building in the city to enjoy a candlelight dinner at Lulu Garden Restaurant. There were all kinds of exquisite and beautiful candlesticks on the table. The long and short candles looked especially beautiful in the night. The exquisite plates were filled with delicious food. Around them were beautiful gardens, musicians playing the violin, and a two-person swing. Through the fence, they could see the beautiful night view of the city. Chu Xiang sighed and said, "This place is so suitable for a date. It's so romantic." Chu Dongqi cut a piece of steak and joked, Xiang, do you want a date? Is there no atmosphere if you come with mom and dad?" "Course not. It's very nice to have a warm atmosphere with mom and dad." Chu Xiang poured wine for them and asked curiously, "Dad, did your project negotiation go well? When do you plan to start it? Have you formed a team?" Chu Dongqi and Feng Qing looked at each other. They shook their heads and laughed. "This child is becoming a workaholic. If we really hand over the company to her in the future, she'll probably be so busy that she won't even have time to eat with us. No, we can't let her take over the company so quickly. Let her be an assistant for a few more years." Feng Qing nodded in agreement. "We can't give her too much work. I didn't realize that she liked to work so much before. She always slept later than me. When I got to the office in the morning, she had already made me tea and sorted out the documents to be approved." Chu Dongqi put down his knife and fork and looked at her. "You're deliberately showing off your daughter. Xiang, you and mom are better now. Come and be dad's assistant for a while. We have different styles of doing things. You can learn more if you switch back and forth." "Why are you trying to steal my daughter in front of me? Do I need to steal my own daughter?" Chu Xiang lowered her head and ate silently. She didn't want to disturb their bonding. Her premonition was right. She had really become a huge third wheel. Every moment was worth 1,000 gold. She had given up a huge gold mine to be a third wheel. The husband and wife's argument about stealing someone's daughter was, of course, inconclusive. Everything remained as it was. Chu Xiang could participate in whatever she liked. They gave Chu Xiang the greatest trust. They believed that she could handle things well no matter what position she was in. When it came to work, Chu Xiang said to them, "Xiao Han and I plan to work together to steal the Yi Group's bid. I'll send you the plan tomorrow. I hope I can form a team to cooperate with the Xiao Group." Chu Dongqi was stunned and asked, "Why are you stealing the Yi family's bid? Did they make trouble for you? Tell Dad what happened. Dad will help you deal with them." Chu Xiang smiled and said, "Dad, let me practice on my own. The Yi family is always looking for trouble and always comes to harass me. It just so happens that I don't like them. Let me have a chance to apply what I've learned." Feng Qing nodded decisively. "Okay, I'll choose an office for you tomorrow. You can choose your own people to form a team to attack the Yi Group. But how does this have anything to do with Xiao Han? Why did he agree to work with you?" Chu Xiang explained simply. "Xiao Han heard me warning Yi Chen. He knows that I'm interested in the Yi Group's bid. He has insider information that this project is very promising and profitable, so he proposed to work with us to attack the Yi Group. Think it's good. He provided a lot of information and I can steal a few things from him. We can split the profits and share the risks. We can't take the big cake of the Yi Group, so it's good to share it with the Xiao Group." Chu Dongqi raised his eyebrows and said, "President Xiao proposed to work with you? He has insider information. He can steal the bid on his own. There's no reason for him to share the profits with us." He thought about it from a man's perspective and said to Chu Xiang seriously, "Cooperation is cooperation, but you still have to be careful when you interact with each other in private. Don't get bullied. There's no free lunch. You have to think carefully before you encounter anything." Chu Xiang smiled. "I know, Dad. It was impossible for her to be bullied. She would never be bullied. In the end, she might reap the benefits. President Zhao's black shirt looked really good. She really wanted to drink that glass of red wine." Chapter 18. Chu Xiang became an independent project manager. At the same time, she was also the liaison between Feng Qing's project and Zhao's. She suddenly became busy. She had her own independent office, which was on the top floor of the company, just like Feng Qing and Chu Dongqi. The office was not big, which was very suitable for her position. However, she had been in the company for such a short time and was independently responsible for a project, which was easy to gossip about. There were so many employees in the company. Even Chu Dongqi and Feng Qing could not make everyone shut up. Everyone felt that the two bosses spoiled their daughter too much. Fortunately, only Chu Xiang and Xiao Han knew how profitable this project was. The others were like the Yi family. They only thought that this was a good project. Chu Xiang was in charge of this project. Although the company's leaders had some thoughts, no one really stopped her. They only expressed in the meeting that they did not want to cause losses for the company. Chu Xiang was busy selecting team members, busy with meetings, busy with the work of the two projects, and also going to school to review the knowledge points. She had long forgotten about the red wine in Mr. Zhao's house. She was always busy from morning to night. Occasionally she had video calls with Xiao Han, but they were all about work. There was no ambiguity at all. After Xiao Han was hung up by Chu Xiang again, he called his secretary in and said coldly, "There will be a meeting in half an hour. I want the latest project information. Everyone has to propose changes to the original content of the bid. Tonight we will make a better plan. Tomorrow we will have a meeting with Dongfang. You go and contact Sister Chu's assistant and make an appointment." "Okay, Mr. Xiao. I will do it right away." The secretary left the office, sent a picture of a big ice cube to the secretary group, and then passed on Xiao Han's order. Everyone suddenly felt bad. Recently, they did not know if Mr. Xiao had taken the wrong medicine. He had turned into a workaholic and was very enthusiastic about a project. They did not understand why Mr. Xiao attached more importance to this project than the big project with Dongfang. He had meetings every 2 or 3 days and was very strict. All of them had to work overtime and work overtime. However, no one dared to ignore Mr. Zhao's order. The project team still racked their brains and used the fastest speed to pick out the problems in the bid. They felt Mr. Zhao's cold aura at the meeting. They all explained the bones they picked out and waited to be scolded. They did not expect Mr. Xiao to nod in satisfaction after seeing them pick out so many problems. Xiao Han knocked on the table and said, "Tomorrow's meeting with Dongfang Group. You have to give more suggestions and strive to improve this bid. Find out the important problems and give them project bonuses." After Xiao Han left, everyone looked at each other. They didn't understand what Xiao Zhao's focus was. Dongfang's Dongfang, 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 Fang Dongfang. Chu Xiang's appearance as the queen of the night stunned Xiao Han. He had a dream that night. In the dream, Chu Xiang was wearing a black diamond evening gown and walking in front of him. Occasionally she would turn around and smile at him, but he could not catch her no matter how hard he tried. After waking up from the dream, they often contacted each other because of the Yi group's bid. Chu Xiang's voice always lingered in his ears. He saw Chu Xiang through the screen. It was just like in the dream. He could see her but he could not catch her. They had finally closed the distance between them and could face each other, but it was ruined by a phone call. The feeling of being close to her and then being forced to keep a distance made Xiao Han's desire break out of the ground and quickly grow into a ginseng tree. He wanted to be with Chu Xiang. He wanted to be with her very much. Chu Xiang was quite surprised when she heard that there was going to be a meeting. She asked what was wrong with the project. Xiao Han's secretary only had a few details that needed to be discussed together to formulate the final bid. Chu Xiang originally wanted to contact Xiao Han to ask, but the school suddenly organized a summer internship mobilization meeting and required all students to attend. She forgot about it. Thinking back, everything would be clear during the meeting. There was no need to ask first. The next day, Chu Xiang and Xiao Han brought their respective teams together for a meeting. Xiao Han finally saw Chu Xiang. The first thing he said was, "Sister Chu, have you been very busy recently?" Chu Xiang nodded. "I've been very busy. Fortunately, the final exams are coming soon. After the exams, I don't have to go to school. Our project is about to be bid. I will try my best to spend time on this project. By the way, are there any problems with the bid? Xiao Han asked her to sit beside him. He raised his hand to signal his subordinates to get ready. He said, "They attach great importance to this project and want it to be perfect. They found some problems. It's not a big deal. Listen to them." The members of the Xiao Group's project team began to speak one by one. Chu Xiong listened carefully, but she felt that something was wrong. If it was a problem, it was really just a problem. Both sides only needed to send someone to confirm it a few times. Why did they need to hold a meeting together? She turned her head to look at Xiao Han, and her eyes met his deep gaze. Xiao Han whispered, "Sister Chu, what's the matter? Why don't we go to the tea house next door?" Chu Xiong responded. Xiao Han stood up and said, "You guys discuss with each other. Make sure all the details are clear. The meeting will be adjourned in an hour." Xiao Han and Chu Xiong left. Xiao Han's subordinates were still working hard to discuss the bid with the Dongfang staff. They were still thinking about the bonus. If they could find some important problems in the end, then this trip would be worth it. Chu Xiong entered the private room of the tea house. She flipped her hair to one side and relaxed on the sofa. She propped her head up and looked at Xiao Han opposite her. "I'm so tired. Is President Xiao deliberately increasing my workload? I can do a lot of things during the meeting." Xiao Han took off his suit jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and began to make tea. "Sister Chu is too difficult to make an appointment." Chu Xiong looked at him with a smile and joked, "President Xiao is so busy every day. You sound like a workaholic. Now you put down your work and troubled so many people. Is it just for a date? President Xiao, aren't you too unprofessional? I always know what my job is." Xiao Han handed the brewed tea to Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong didn't take it. She looked at the clear tea and then looked at Xiao Han. Xiao Han's lips curled up slightly. He got up and sat down to feed her the tea. Chu Xiong leaned close to him and drank the cup of tea from his hand. She smiled and looked up at him. "President Zhao's tea is better than Bi Rao's. I think President Zhao's red wine is just as good." Xiao Han looked at his watch and said casually, "We can still book a restaurant now. I wonder if Sister Chu has time to have dinner with me. After dinner, we can try the bottle of red wine from last time." Chu Xiong was about to speak when her phone rang. She turned on her phone and saw that it was a message from Chu Dongqi, telling her to go home after the meeting. He would personally cook for them tonight. She didn't want to hide it. Xiao Han, who was next to her, saw everything. When she looked up again, the smile on Xiao Han's face had disappeared. She held back her laughter. "I'm sorry, President Xiao. It's family time again. My father will go abroad in a few days, so he asked me to go home and have dinner with my family every night." Xiao Han returned to his original seat with the teacup. He said while making tea, "It's okay. Family is important." Then he asked casually, "Sister Chu, is there a curfew at home? Then you can't attend many social events." Chu Xiong looked at his expression and said with a smile, "There's not a curfew, but I don't like social events. I'm always busy. I don't attend unnecessary gatherings. In fact, it's not bad to relax occasionally. Combining work and rest can improve work efficiency." Xiao Han wanted to find time to go on a date. However, Chu Xiong was very unromantic. She said without hesitation, "I don't want rest. I just want to work hard. I wasted so many years in the past. Now I want to make up for it all. I want to learn a lot." Xiao Han raised his eyebrows slightly. "You want to learn business. Chairman Chu and Chairman Fong are very outstanding seniors, but maybe my idea is more suitable for young people, more suitable for you. When Sister Chu has time, I can tell you my experience." Chu Xiong laughed. "Okay, I will ask President Xiao for advice when I have time. At that time, I hope President Xiao won't find me annoying." The two chatted face to face in the tea house. The environment was very relaxed and they got along very well. After the meeting, the subordinate sent them a message. Xiao Han said with some regret, "I'll send you back." "Well, thank you, President Xiao." Chu Xiong carried her bag and got into Xiao Han's car. She asked her assistant to drive her car back. On the way, Chu Xiong asked Xiao Han about the interesting things in college. Xiao Han was a person who didn't like to talk, but he told her a lot. Chu Xiong laughed again and again. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the Chu villa. Xiao Han looked at the villa, his fingers unconsciously tapping on the steering wheel. He said, "Sister Chu, if you have any questions about work, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer them. It's very convenient to have a video call like before." Chu Xiong lowered her head and unfastened her seat belt. "President Xiao, have you ever had a girlfriend?" Xiao Han pursed his lips and was silent for a moment. He turned his head and looked out of the window. "Well." Chu Xiong grabbed his tie and pulled him over. She whispered to him face to face, "President Xiao, are you in love with me? You have to try to know." Xiao Han reached out and put his hand around her waist. He lowered his head and slowly approached her. "Chu Xiong." An angry shout broke the ambiguous atmosphere. Xiao Han's face instantly darkened. His eyes shot daggers at the person outside the car. If his eyes could materialize, that person would be stabbed into a sieve by him. Chu Xiong laughed and fell into his arms. She thought about how she and Xiao Han had been interrupted time and time again. She laughed so hard that her stomach hurt. No one else could have such a magical fate. Xiao Han was still looking out of the window with a cold face. He hugged Chu Xiong tighter and whispered in her ear, "Is it very funny? Maybe I should send you to a private group. That way no one will disturb us." Chu Xiong pushed him away in amusement. "You can go if you have the chance, but you have to wait until I'm done. I'm leaving." Xiao Han helped her tidy up her hair and asked, "Do you need my help?" "No." Chu Xiong pushed open the car door and got out of the car. There was still a smile on her face. She turned around and waved at him. "Goodbye, President Xiao. Work hard. Don't slack off." Chapter 19. Xiao Han backed the car a little, but he didn't leave. Chu Xiong turned to look at Yi Chen and asked in surprise, "What are you angry about?" Yi Chen looked at her in disbelief. "What am I angry about?" "Chu Xiong, you're with Xiao Han so soon. No wonder the Xiao group and the Dongfang group suddenly snatched my family's bid." "Stop!" Chu Xiong waved her hand and looked him up and down. "Are you a kindergarten child? Or are you a monster who can't understand human language? Didn't I snatch your family's bid because you harassed me? If you continue like this, I'll snatch it until the Yi family goes bankrupt. You can try if you don't believe me. Also, it's none of your business who I'm with. Stay away from me. I'm not interested in talking to you." Chu Xiong walked around him and was about to leave. Yi Chen subconsciously reached out to pull her, but Chu Xiong grabbed his fingers and twisted them. "Chu Xiong, let go of me." In order to relieve the pain in his hands, Yi Chen could only kneel on the ground. His face was twisted in pain. Chu Xiong shook him off and snorted. "It seems that you don't learn from your mistakes. Then I'll beat you until you don't dare to move." Xiao Han let go of the car door and sat back in his seat. His worry was unnecessary. Chu Xiong also used this to teach Yi Chen a lesson last time. Yi Chen covered his hands and said angrily, "Chu Xiong, can you let me finish? I've already broken up with Bai Shuowei. She instigated everything. I just want to talk to you. I hope you can forgive me and we can start over. If I didn't like you, do you think I wouldn't get even with you after being beaten by you so many times?" Chu Xiong wasn't curious about him at all, nor was she interested in his feelings. She said coldly, "I don't have a hobby of recycling garbage. It's impossible for me to have anything to do with you. If you can understand human language, you'd better go back and keep an eye on the Yi group as soon as possible. I'm not joking when I say that I'll make the Yi group go bankrupt." Chu Xiong ignored him after that. She waved at Xiao Han and walked into the villa. Yi Chen shouted from behind her. Chu Xiong, I won't give up. I don't believe that you're so heartless. I'm going to pursue you again. The servants in the courtyard asked Chu Xiong in surprise. Sis, what's wrong with young Master Yi? Chu Xiong shrugged. He must have watched too many stupid dramas. He thinks he's chasing after an ignorant woman. If he shows up again in the future, get the security to chase him away. The sister. After Yi Chen shouted, he turned around to look for Xiao Han. He realized that Xiao Han had already driven off when Chu Xiong went in. He stared at the car driving away for a long time. He didn't believe that Chu Xiong would deal with the Yi group. Even if they had emotional conflicts, the Chu family and the Yi family had been friends for many years. How could she attack the Yi group and make it bankrupt? Moreover, the Yi group was a giant in the business world. How could she make it go bankrupt? In the past, Yi Chen often hung out with Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong had never touched business. How could she know about bidding in such a short time? He felt that Chu Xiong might have been used by Xiao Han. Otherwise, why would the Xiao group get involved when Chu Xiong snatched the Yi family's bid? Xiao Han clearly wanted to take advantage of the cooperation between the two families to get close to Chu Xiong and obtain the resources of the Dongfang group. Yi Chen thought about it and regretted his attitude towards Chu Xiong just now. He clearly wanted to be gentle and explain to Chu Xiong when he saw her. Why did they quarrel as soon as they met? Xiao Han took advantage of him for nothing. But when he saw that Xiao Han almost kissed Chu Xiong, he was about to explode with anger. How could he think so much? Yi Zhenhong called and asked him how his talk with Chu Xiong was going. Yi Chen said impatiently, "She doesn't want to talk to me. She's still angry with me. Moreover, with Xiao Han by her side, how could she be willing to listen to me? In the past, when she was with me, she never talked to other boys. Solve the trouble you caused yourself. The company's affairs are not a joke. The bidding is about to begin. Convince Chu Xiong to give up the bid as soon as possible. Okay, I know what Chu Xiong likes. I will get her back. Then everything will be fine. Even if she gets the bid, we are still family. Dad, don't be long-winded." Yi Chen didn't think that Chu Xiong would stop talking to him. Even if Chu Xiong's heart was broken by him, they had been together for more than 10 years. Chu Xiong had always loved him so much. As long as he lowered his attitude and sincerely asked for peace, how could Chu Xiong not forgive him? He was very confident that he could get Chu Xiong back. It was just a matter of time. Yi Chen was restricted from getting close to Chu Xiong in school, so he drove his sports car and waited outside the school. As soon as Chu Xiong came out, he stopped her car and gave her a large bouquet of bright red roses. Chu Xiong looked at him coldly in the car. She stepped on the accelerator and directly crashed into him. Yi Chen was so scared that he hurriedly dodged. Chu Xiong brushed past him and drove away without slowing down at all. Yi Chen looked at the petals scattered all over the ground and kicked Luan Tai angrily. He called again and ordered a bouquet of flowers to send to the Dongfang group. Yi Chen's pursuit was very fierce. Every time he sent flowers to school, flowers to the company, and afternoon tea, everyone knew that young Master Yi was pursuing the daughter of the Chu family again. Chu Xiong did not accept anything. All of it benefited the students in school and the employees of the company. During the final exam, Bai Shui's heart was filled with jealousy when she saw Yi Chen pursuing Chu Xiong so attentively. As a result, she was uneasy during the exam. In addition, she did not study much during this period of time, so she did a complete mess. She looked up at Chu Xiong on the other side of the classroom. Chu Xiong was answering the questions calmly, not affected at all. She could not figure out why she and Chu Xiong seemed to be the opposite. In the past, she was the one who looked on coldly from the sidelines. From time to time, she would sow discord, making Chu Xiong angry and emotional. But now, it seemed that no matter what they did, Chu Xiong was unmoved. They would be affected every time. Perhaps it was because they cared that they were affected. Those who did not care could always stay out of it. Bai Shuwei did not deliberately get close to Yi Chen, but she pretended to inadvertently let Yi Chen see her. He knew that she did not pester or disturb them. The tutor shook his head helplessly when he saw Yi Chen drive out of school to wait for Chu Xiong after the exam. The university was like society. The teachers did not really care much about the students. There were many school rules and regulations, but as long as it was not too overboard, the school would turn a blind eye. The problem was that Chu Xiong's love triangle was too big. Everyone in and out of school was talking about it. There was even a scandal about Bai Shuwei exchanging her body for an apartment. Although the school had clarified, how could the students believe it? Besides, Chu Xiong did not care about them anymore. She said several times that they had seriously harassed her and asked the school to punish them. They had seriously violated the school rules and regulations. The scope of the influence had spread to the whole school, and they refused to change despite repeated warnings. It was really too bad. The school couldn't expel them from the school, but they still had the power to persuade them for their mistakes. The tutor thought about it and decided to discuss it with the dean. They could not continue like this. The final results were released very quickly. To everyone's surprise and satisfaction, Chu Xiong ranked first in the professional course, while Bai Shuwei flew low and barely did not fail. When everyone saw that Chu Xiong had defeated Bai Shuwei, they were even happier than if they had failed their neighbor. They all thought that good deeds were rewarded, but evil deeds were repaid 3 times. Some people even dug up the post where Chu Xiong had asked them not to disturb her studying. Many students entered the post and left comments to make fun of her. They even posted the words, "Studying is better than dating." For a time, the famous saying, "Study hard and make progress," appeared on the university campus again. Jing Baishui was under great pressure when faced with the disdainful looks of her classmates. She did not expect her grades to be so low. Maybe she did not pay attention during the exam and wrote all the questions she knew wrong. Even if she did not think the grades were important, this was the image of a top student that she had personally created. Now, she had been defeated by Chu Xiong. The whole school was watching this scene where the first wife defeated the third wife. This feeling was very uncomfortable. Bai Shuwei looked down on ordinary students. She grew up in a rich family. Even if she had nothing now, she felt that she was much better than others. She could not stand the way her classmates looked at her. She deliberately let Yi Chen see her hiding and crying alone. Yi Chen wanted to pretend that he did not see her and walk away. However, after taking a few steps, he came back and asked her, "What's wrong?" Bai Shuwei turned around and wiped her tears in a hurry. "Nothing, I'm fine," Yi Chen said impatiently. "You're crying like this and you're still fine. What's wrong?" "Failed the exam. A lot of people are laughing at me." "What is this?" Yi Chen sneered. He had forgotten that he had used Bai Shuwei's good grades to attack Chu Xiong. In his mind, he came to this university to spend time leisurely. He did not need grades at all. Bai Shuwei forced a smile and said, "I'm fine. I feel bad that so many people are laughing at me. You know that I've always wanted to excel. The summer internship is coming soon. At that time, maybe they will laugh at me for betraying Xiong again. Now I can't even go to a good company. Sorry. I shouldn't have said this to you. Then I won't disturb you. I'm leaving." Bai Shuwei once again retreated in order to advance. She smiled and turned to leave. Yi Chen looked at her and said, "Wait for me to inform you about the internship. Don't misunderstand. We've known each other for 10 years. I just don't want to see you being laughed at by others." Bai Shuwei looked at him in surprise. "Really? Thank you, Chen." Yi Chen did not want to see her. He waved his hand impatiently and left. Bai Shuwei was confident. She still had 2 years to go to university. She still had time. On the eve of the holiday, the university and a few partner companies jointly held an internship job fair. A few companies set up a pilot program in the university's Great Hall. Students could choose their own companies and bring their resumes to the interview. Bai Shuwei specially went to the site. She was now staying in the dormitory occasionally. A girl in her dormitory asked her, "Are you going to the interview?" Bai Shuwei shook her head. "No, I've already passed the interview with Li Sheng Group. I'm going to be an assistant manager at Li Sheng Group during the summer." "Then you're very good." The girl praised her. She went to look at other companies with her friends and did not want to talk to her too much. The students nearby heard their conversation and could not help but look at Bai Shuwei. A girl who had just been rejected by a company said, "So what if she's a mistress? So what if she failed the exam? Didn't she still go to a world-famous company for her internship? I even laughed at her before. I might never be able to compare to her. Don't worry about her. We can't do what she did. Think it's funny." Everyone even congratulated Chu Xiong on the forum for defeating Bai Shuwei. This result was very satisfying. Who knew that this was not the result at all? In the end, Bai Shuwei is still as glamorous as ever. Then, how do you know that Chu Xiong is not more glamorous than her? Look, isn't that Chu Xiong? Chapter 20. A member of the student union led another company into the venue. Some students asked around and found out that it was a new company, the Dongfang Group. All the students looked at Chu Xiong. Wasn't the Dongfang Group Chu Xiong's family's company? Chu Xiong was wearing a professional suit. Her long curly hair was tied into a low ponytail behind her head. She was wearing high heels and walked in front of the Dongfang employees, giving off a very capable feeling. Especially in the venue full of young students. She was clearly their classmate, but she seemed different from them. She had already run far away from their finish line and went to participate in the next competition. The students watched as Chu Xiong walked to her seat and sat down. The Dongfang employees set up a poster of the Dongfang Group's logo behind her. On it was printed in large words that the Dongfang Group was going to recruit 100 interns in their school with preferential treatment. What kind of company was the Dongfang Group? It was a mega company that was several times stronger than the Li Sheng Group that they had just discussed. They never recruited interns. They had never thought that they could intern in Dongfang. Many students swarmed to the recruitment spot of the Dongfang Group. Chu Xiong's classmate rushed to the front and asked embarrassedly, "Chu Xiong, are you in charge of recruitment? Did you ask the Dongfang Group to recruit interns in our school?" Chu Xiong smiled at her and said, "I asked them to. I want to form my own team and nurture new blood. The quality of our school's teaching is very high, and many students have great potential, so the first thing I thought of was our school. However, this time we're only recruiting summer interns. I've set up different positions to train the interns. Those who are interested can sign up." "Thank you, Chu Xiong. This is such a good opportunity. I want to sign up. I want to be a member of Chu Xiong's team. I want to sign up too. Hope I can pass. I'll definitely learn a lot from these positions. I'm so touched. I like Chu Xiong's personality." During this period of time, Chu Xiong got along very well with her classmates. The main reason was that these classmates loved to help her. They mocked and ridiculed Yi Chen and Bai Shuwei in all sorts of ways and pinned them to the pillar of shame on the school forum. They even took the initiative to supervise them after the school warned them not to get close to her. This made her feel very comfortable. Therefore, Chu Xiong provided them with this opportunity. It was always good to let her be a Gao Yi. Of course, they still had to compete for the position. A total of 4 employees came from the Dongfang Group. They were to handle the registration of the students and the preliminary examination. Chu Xiong conducted the second examination for the students who passed the preliminary examination on the spot. If they passed the examination, they would be given temporary work badges and employment information. Although Chu Xiong still had a faint smile on her face as she worked, it was completely different from before. She was like a company leader, and the students in the queue all consciously lowered their voices when they spoke. A girl passed the preliminary test and came to Chu Xiong. After reading the resume and the preliminary test evaluation, Chu Xiang looked up at the girl and closed the resume. You didn't pass. Next. The girl frowned and said, Why? You haven't asked me anything. Chu Xiang, I remember that you once suspected that my supercar was a breakup fee from Yi Chen. It's a character problem to spread such nasty rumors without verification. Dongfeng doesn't need such an employee. The girl widened her eyes and said in disbelief, It's been so long, Chu Xiang. At that time, I didn't know that you were richer than Yi Chen. Many people guessed so. The many people you mentioned can't enter Dongfeng. Dongfeng nurtures talents, but only talents with good character. Chu Xiang glanced at the security guard at the door. The security guard immediately came over to ask the girl to leave. A classmate said, That's understandable. At that time, no one knew the inside story. The girl next to her rolled her eyes. If you don't know, don't mess around. You deserve to be passed for such nonsense. I think that Chu Xiang is right. This is a character problem. If you spread such rumors in the company, wouldn't it affect others? That's true. Chu Xiang is so strict. Look at this. She's taking the business English test. It looks like I won't be able to get in. It's good that she's strict. With such strict screening, you'll definitely be able to learn something useful if you get in. While they were talking, another boy was passed by Chu Xiang. The boy was unwilling to give up and asked why. Chu Xiang casually said, Because you scolded me before. I'm not happy. The boy had indeed scolded Chu Xiang before. He was a fly that wouldn't bite a seamless egg. It was Chu Xiang who didn't keep an eye on her man. She deserved to be snatched away. He didn't expect Chu Xiang to know. He said awkwardly, You're using your position to take revenge on me. No one hires like you do. Chu Xiang spread her hands. It's my family's company. Why can't I hire like this? I'm the one who initiated this recruitment. I want the talent and I set the rules. Whoever makes me unhappy will have no chance. It's as simple as that. Please leave. The boy still wanted to make a fuss, but he was directly escorted out by the security guards. The venue was much quieter. Everyone was looking at Chu Xiang. Someone said in admiration, Queen Chu is too domineering. She's indeed not a gentle person. This is Queen Chu's true colors. Why was she so touched at the beginning? I'm in love. I must pass the interview. There's meat to eat if you follow Queen Chu. Think about how she almost gave Bai Shuawei a 10 million yuan house. Even if you can't be her best friend, you can be her subordinate. Yes. Be her subordinate. What happened to that 10 million yuan house? I know that. My relative saw it. Chu Xiang donated 10 million yuan on the charity list. I went to ask around and found out that the house was sold for 9.6 million yuan. Chu Xiang collected the money and donated it. This was another bomb for the students. 10 million yuan. So what if she donated it? Although Chu Xiang was a rich person, this 10 million yuan was originally meant for Bai Shuawei. Everyone thought of Bai Shuawei. They looked around the venue and saw Bai Shuawei standing far away at the entrance of the venue. It seemed like she was about to leave. Just now, some people thought that she was better than many people by being able to intern at Li Sheng Group. Now, looking at her again, they suddenly felt that she was a loser who had lost 100 million yuan. The word mourning was written all over her body. What was the use of interning at Li Sheng Group? Could it be compared to being Chu Xiang's right-hand man in Jin Dongfeng? What was the use of snatching Yi Chen? Could it be compared to Chu Xiang's 10 million yuan donation? Everyone suddenly realized that they couldn't compare Bai Shuawei to ordinary people like them. Bai Shuawei's starting point was much higher than theirs. They were working hard and moving up bit by bit. Even if Bai Shuawei entered Li Sheng Group, she would still be going downhill. Some of the students who were a little envious of Bai Shuawei couldn't find the slightest bit of envy anymore. They inexplicably felt that she was a little pitiful. Bai Shuawei had always been very sensitive to other people's likes and dislikes. She came to the venue today because she had been too aggrieved during this period. She wanted to enjoy the envious gazes of the crowd. In the end, she didn't even enjoy it for 2 minutes. Chu Xiang was mocked and pitiful by these gazes. She hated it when people mocked her, and she hated it even more when people pitied her. Now, she hated Chu Xiang the most for causing all of this. Bai Shuwei quickly left the venue. That feeling of humiliation lingered in her mind. She couldn't win against Chu Xiang in anything. No matter how hard she worked and how outstanding she would always be defeated by Chu Xiang. Wasn't it because Chu Xiang came from a good family? Chu Xiang was born with something that she couldn't get even if she worked hard for her whole life. She was jealous. She dreamed of marrying into a rich family. But who would marry the daughter of the Chu family's housekeeper? Only Yi Chen. They were childhood sweethearts and had known each other for 10 years. The Yi family was the most likely place for her to marry into a rich family. She finally succeeded in capturing Yi Chen's heart, but in the end, it was still ruined by Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang was born to be her nemesis. This time, Chu Xiang was in the limelight at the venue. Bai Shuwei fled like a stray dog. They used to be the most ordinary pair of best friends in school, but now, one of them was in the top and the other was in the bottom. There was no trace of their former selves. When the event was about to end, Lan, who came with a friend, saw the post on her phone. She pursed her lips and went forward to show the post to Chu Xiang. She said, "Chu Xiang, Yi Chen is waiting for you at the entrance with a car full of fresh flowers. Why don't you leave from the back door? He's so annoying." Chu Xiang smiled when she saw the post. "Thank you. Don't worry about him." Lan recalled how Chu Xiang had almost run over Yi Chen with her car and laughed. "That's true. He's always angered to death because of you. Chu Xiang, do you have time later? I'm holding a birthday party for my birthday. Do you want to come and have some fun and make some friends?" The Yin family's business was about the same as the Yi family's. Most of the friends that Lan invited were famous second-generation heirs in their circle. Some of them were even business heirs. Chu Xiang thought for a moment and felt that they might be able to work together if they got to know each other better, so she agreed. "I'll be there on time. Happy birthday in advance." Lan smiled happily. "Thank you. That's great. I'll go back and tell them. They'll definitely be overjoyed. You don't know, but you're now a role model in everyone's hearts. We all like you very much. You're also very cute." Chu Xiang curved her lips and smiled at her. Lan suddenly blushed a little. She covered her face and ran away. "You're breaking the rules. You're even flirting with women." The students nearby all laughed. Chu Xiang also shook her head and laughed. She got up and packed her things ready to leave. The staff asked her, "Sister Chu, are you going back to the company?" Chu Xiang looked at the message on her phone and smiled. "No, someone's coming to pick me up." Yi Chen drove a red convertible sports car. The car was filled with red roses. It was very eye-catching when he parked it in front of the school gate. A black Maybach drove over slowly and stopped on the other side of the school gate. Yi Chen noticed it, but the windows of the Maybach were blocked, so he couldn't see the people inside. He didn't care. He leaned against the sports car and struck a very handsome pose. He focused on waiting for Chu Xiang. During this period of time, Chu Xiang had been rejecting him. On the contrary, he became more enthusiastic. He even found the passion that Lian Chu and Chu Xiang had when they were passionately in love. Chu Xiang walked out with a group of classmates. Yi Chen smiled and stood up straight. "Xiang, today is the 15th anniversary of our meeting. Shall we have dinner together?" The driver of the Maybach got out of the car and opened the back door, attracting the attention of the students. This car looked very luxurious. It was the car of a big shot. Who could be coming out of it? What did he come to their school for? Xiao Han stepped out of the car. This kind of handsome CEO in a suit and leather shoes had a huge impact on the students. Wasn't this the kind of handsome CEO and powerful aura that only existed in idol dramas? They saw Xiao Han fastening a button on his suit and walking towards them. He stood still and said, "Xiang Xiang, I'm here to pick you up." Chapter 21. Chu Xiang was stunned when she heard him call her Xiang Xiang. Then she looked at Xiao Han's cold expression and couldn't help but laugh. She held his arm and said, "Have you been waiting for a long time? Let's go." Someone in the crowd boldly shouted, "Chu Xiang, is he your boyfriend?" Xiao Han and Yi Chen both looked at Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang smiled and said, "Yeah, isn't he handsome?" "Handsome. You're so cool." Many students cheered and laughed. Xiao Han's eyes softened and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly, showing that he was in a good mood. He led Chu Xiang to the car. Yi Chen blocked them with a cold expression and stared at Chu Xiang and asked, "Are you really with him?" Chu Xiang asked doubtfully, "How could it be fake?" Yi Chen looked at Xiao Han and then at her. He gritted his teeth and said, "Are you really not going to give me a chance? I thought this was enough to express my sincerity." He took a deep breath and softened his tone. "Xiang Xiang, today is the 15th anniversary of our meeting. I've been preparing for this for a long time. Please give me another chance. Let's start over and get to know each other again, okay? I won't let you down again." Xiao Han's arm tightened a little. Chu Xiang felt that her hand was being clamped by him. She laughed and said, "Yi Chen, there's no need for an anniversary for such a terrible day. If I were to start over, I would definitely wish that I had never met you. Besides, I already have a boyfriend. Naturally, other people don't have a chance, including you. I'm not interested in flirting with other people." Chu Xiang grabbed Xiao Han's tie and pulled him down. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed him on the lips. Their lips touched and parted. Xiao Han's lips were stained with a bit of lipstick. He looked very happy. Chu Xiang smiled in satisfaction and said, "Let's go. We don't have much time. We still have a lot of things to do." The two of them walked around Yi Chen and got into the car. Yi Chen's mind was filled with the many things that they were about to do. He wanted to pester them further, but he was stopped by the school security guards that his classmate had called over. This was the reason why Chu Xiang liked her classmates. These children were too pure and cute. The chauffeur drove to the restaurant. Xiao Han sat beside Chu Xiang with a serious expression and raised the partition between the front and back seats. Chu Xiang tilted her head to look at him and asked knowingly, "What are you doing?" Xiao Han met her gaze. There was a faint flame in his eyes, and his voice was a little hoarse. "What do you think, Sister Chu? You don't call me Xiang Xiang anymore." Chu Xiang pulled his tie and smiled. She leaned over and pressed him against the back of the chair. Her lips touched his as she said, "President Xiao, call me Xiang Xiang again. I like it." Xiao Han looked at her and took out her phone from her bag. "Turn off your phone." Chu Xiang stuffed her phone back and chuckled. "That won't do. If you don't call me that, I'll go to work." The unfinished words were drowned out by their lips and teeth. Xiao Han held the back of her head to prevent her from backing away and pressed her against the seat instead. Along the way, he didn't know how many times he said Xiang Xiang. The chauffeur had worked for Xiao Han for so long, but this was the first time he saw him with a girlfriend. He drove steadily in front of the car and drove around the city, silently giving his boss enough time. When Xiao Han touched the zipper of Chu Xiang's dress, she pushed him and asked, "Have we reached the restaurant? I have a meeting in the afternoon. I have to go back early." Xiao Han held her hand and kissed it gently. "Postpone it. Come to my house." "No, I have to go to a meeting." Chu Xiang touched Xiao Han's handsome face and kissed him comfortingly. She smiled and said, "Good boy. Let's go to the restaurant to eat. I'm hungry." Xiao Han looked at her for 3 seconds and admitted defeat. He took a deep breath and sat up. He knocked on the partition and said, "Let's go to the restaurant." The car drove onto the main road. Chu Xiang slowly tidied up her dress and took out the makeup mirror to touch up her makeup. She saw Xiao Han's cold look in the mirror. She took the tie beside her and waved to Xiao Han. "Come here. Let me help you tie it." Xiao Han's expression didn't change, but his body moved to her side honestly and lowered his head cooperatively. Chu Xiang wiped his lips with her thumb and laughed softly. "If other women saw you like this, they would go crazy." Xiao Han looked at her attentively. "What about you?" Chu Xiang raised her eyebrows and slowly tied the tie for him. "I only know how to make others go crazy." She looked up at him and warned with a smile. "President Xiao, don't love me too much. I'll be sad if you love me too much." Xiao Han hugged her tightly. "Less is more. The greater the risk, the greater the reward." Chu Xiang didn't say anything else. She leaned her head on his broad shoulder and closed her eyes to rest. Not long after, she fell asleep in his comfortable embrace. Xiao Han looked down at her fair side profile and raised his hand to move the loose hair by her cheek. She had been so busy recently that there were faint green circles under her eyes. Xiao Han suppressed all the dates he had thought of. If he let her go on a date with him outside of work, his heart would ache. The first time he met a woman who put work first, he could only be a workaholic with her. Chu Xiang slept and drank to her heart's content. She went to work happily and felt that time flew by quickly. On Anlan's birthday, she called her early in the morning to remind her not to forget to attend the birthday party. Chu Xiang was in the middle of a video call with Xiao Han. When Xiao Han asked her who was calling, she answered directly. Xiao Han thought for a moment and said, "I'll go with you. Sister Chu is so busy that she doesn't even have time to meet. We can only see each other at the party." He was trying very hard to get a chance to go on a date. However, Chu Xiang rejected him heartlessly. "We're both young. What are you going to do?" Xiao Han's face darkened. "I'm only 5 years older than you," Chu Xiang said while putting on makeup. 3 years is a generation gap. You have nothing to talk about with them. Besides, you're the president of Xiao Group. If you go, how much pressure will it put on everyone? We're bidding tomorrow. Work hard and perfect our project. I'll call you after the party." Xiao Han looked at the schedule. He didn't have anything to do that night. He coughed softly and said, "Call me after you're done. I'll pick you up and take you home." Chu Xiang finished putting on makeup and looked at herself in the mirror. She looked at the video call and smiled. "If you pick me up, can I still go home?" "Well, wait for my call. I'm going to work." Chu Xiang blew him a kiss, turned off the video call and went to work. The birthday party was at dinner. After dinner they would play until late at night. Chu Xiang planned to go home after dinner with them. After all, she had to bid the second day. It was not suitable for her to stay up late. Xiao Han went to the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. Was his desire written all over his face? How did Chu Xiang see through his intention at a glance? However, now that Chairman Chu was on a business trip, Chu Xiang didn't have to go home every time for love meals. Couldn't he ask her out for red wine? Xiao Han looked at the navy blue shirt he was wearing and called his assistant. "Buy me a black shirt with a suitable tie." The assistant nodded and asked doubtfully, "President Xiao, you only want a shirt and tie? Don't you need a full suit?" Xiao Han felt that Chu Xiang liked to look at his tie and shirt every time she saw him. However, he was not going to pick her up at home. Of course, he had to wear a full suit. He thought for a while and said, "Match it with a silver gray suit, a watch, cuffs and leather shoes. Buy it and send it to my office." "K. President Xiao." Xiao Han dialed the secretary's internal line. "Inform everyone that the afternoon meeting will be brought forward to the morning. Free up my afternoon." "Yes, President Xiao." The secretaries in the secretary's office sent messages in the group. "Is President Xiao going to torture us again? He was just gentle for a few days. Is he going to turn into a workaholic again? God bless him. President Xiao, please don't make us work overtime." Is President Xiao in a relationship? Why has he been so moody recently? Then I hope his relationship is successful. I hope that love can melt him so that he will never torture us again. Chu Xiang had to leave early for the party in the afternoon. so the meeting was brought forward. Recently, their companies had been cooperating closely. Some employees who were familiar with each other added each other on WeChat. When chatting, they mentioned their bosses' meeting. They all sighed that they were working for two hardworking bosses. They were both workaholics. Their projects would definitely be stable. In the afternoon, Chu Xiang went to celebrate Anlan's birthday with birthday gifts. There were about 30 people present, all of whom were second-generation businessmen around the age of 20. Most of them were still in school. Only a few of them had come into contact with their families' companies and were learning from their elders. Chu Xiang was considered the most successful one among them. However, they did not care about this. They were more concerned about Chu Xiang's actions during this period of time. It was so cool. During the meal, Anlan sat next to Chu Xiang and talked to her. When the others saw that she, the protagonist, did not mind, they were even more relaxed. They all surrounded Anlan and Chu Xiang. There were also people who asked Chu Xiang for advice when they encountered troubles. They wanted to slap the other party's face like Chu Xiang. Everyone was lively. Chu Xiang felt that they were inexplicably worshipping her. This was different from her initial plan of making connections and working together. However, with more friends, it was quite interesting to play together like this. In particular, Anlan's temperament was very suitable for her. She was really a cute girl. After Xiao Han finished his work, he went to the gym with the new clothes that his special assistant had bought. He sweated profusely in the gym for the whole afternoon and practiced a lot of shaping exercises. When the coach came forward to check on him, he said to the coach, "Help me develop a set of exercise plans to maintain my youthful state." The coach said in surprise, "President Xiao, you have a very good figure. You are in peak condition. You don't need this kind of exercise at all. Develop a set. It will be too late to maintain it when I am in poor condition." "Okay, then I will send the plan to your special assistant later." Xiao Han practiced until Chu Xianglai's phone call was about to end. He took a quick shower, put on the new clothes, and drove to pick up Chu Xiang. When Xiao Han arrived at the restaurant, he happened to see Chu Xiang and the others coming out. Anlan was holding Chu Xiang's arm as if she was acting coquettishly. There were two handsome boys next to Chu Xiang, smiling happily. There was also a boy who was helping Chu Xiang carry her bag. Chu Xiang was standing with them, and it was unusually harmonious. Xiao Han suddenly felt as if his treasure had been discovered by others. When he thought of the generation gap between Chu Xiang and the 3-year-old, he felt an inexplicable sense of crisis. He drove the car over and got out of the car. He put one hand on the roof of the car and the other on the door. He looked at Chu Xiang and smiled at her. Chu Xiang's eyes lit up when she saw him. In the night, Xiao Han was standing beside the car in a silver-gray suit and smiling at her. There was an indescribable attraction like a melting ice cube. She suddenly wanted to go back and have a glass of red wine with him. Chapter 22. Chu Xiang said goodbye to everyone and reached for her bag. The boy didn't let go and asked tentatively, "Sister Xiang, are you really with President Xiao?" Chu Xiang looked at Xiao Han and said with a smile, "Yes, we're a good match, aren't we? Let's go." Oi. The boy let go and Chu Xiang watched Xiao Han walk over. Anlan looked at them from behind and suddenly shouted to Chu Xiang, "Sister Xiang, you have to protect yourself. Don't get hurt again." Chu Xiang waved her hand with her back to her. Xiao Han had come over to open the car door for her. Chu Xiang's hand fell on his chest. She looked up and kissed his chin, whispering, "President Xiao, you're very charming tonight." Xiao Han ignored other people's surprise. He hugged Chu Xiang and kissed her lips. He whispered in her ear, "You're even more charming. So many boys are fascinated by your meal." Chu Xiang chuckled and said, "President Xiao, are you jealous?" Xiao Han looked into her eyes and whispered, "I don't like vinegar. I only like red wine. I've been keeping that bottle of red wine for you. When are you going to drink it?" "Now." Chu Xiong raised her eyebrows and got into the car. Xiao Han immediately closed the door and got in the car. He didn't even give Chu Xiong a chance to say hello to others before he drove out. And Lan rubbed her eyes and asked the others, "Is that President Xiao? The iceberg Xiao Han of the Xiao group? Did I mistake him for someone else? Who says Xiao Han is an iceberg? He's obviously a volcano. He seduced our Sister Xiang. Don't you think Sister Xiang is too powerful? She can make Yi Chen so angry. Of course she can also make President Xiao like this. What are you talking about? Anyway, Sister Xiang is with President Xiao. We have no chance." That's not necessarily true. If President Xiao treats Sister Xiang badly like Yi Chen, I can take her away at any time. And Lan shook her head and interrupted them. Okay. I know you are Sister Xiang's fans. Now that Sister Xiang is not here, don't show your loyalty. Let's go to the bar. Everyone got into their respective cars and called for a designated driver to drive off. And Lan looked in the direction where Chu Xiong had left and felt depressed. She had just gotten closer to Chu Xiong. She wanted to play with Chu Xiong more like other best friends, but in the end, Chu Xiong had already been taken away by Big Bad Wolf Xiao. She probably didn't have time to care about her. Why wasn't she a man? The vengeful Big Bad Wolf Xiao still remembered what Lan had shouted. He asked while driving, "They asked you to protect yourself? Do I look like someone who would hurt you?" Chu Xiong turned to look at his handsome side profile and smiled. "They should be worried about you." The car drove into the garage and stopped. Chu Xiong pressed Xiao Han down and kissed him deeply. She then untied his tie. Xiao Han carried her out of the car and walked into the elevator. He raised her bag to block the side of her face. Chu Xiong's current appearance was too moving, and he didn't want anyone to see it. His house was on the top floor and he had a special elevator. As soon as they got out of the elevator, he pressed her against the wall and nibbled on her earlobe. When the phone rang, Xiao Han froze and tightened his arms. He simply wanted to throw Chu Xiong's bag into the Pacific Ocean. Chu Xiong took out her phone and picked up the phone with a smile. Feng Qing was on the other side. Xiong, when are you coming back?" Chu Xiong lay in Xiao Han's arms and kissed his chin. She smiled. "Mom, I played very late tonight. I'm tired, so I'll sleep outside. I won't go back." "You won't come back?" "Oh, okay. Then don't drink too much. Be careful." "I know, Mom. Rest early. Good night." "Good night." Chu Xiong hung up. She felt that Xiao Han had completely softened. He hugged her tightly and whispered in her ear, "If you leave me today, I may not want to drink red wine for the rest of my life." "Then what are you waiting for?" Chu Xiong hugged his neck and gently bit his Adam's apple. Xiao Han's Adam's apple bobbed. He opened the door as fast as he could and carried Chu Xiong into the bedroom. He was like a hairy man, but he always remembered to treat Chu Xiong gently. Even if he tore her dress in excitement, he didn't make her feel uncomfortable at all. Chu Xiong finally unbuttoned his shirt and saw the scenery inside with her own eyes. It was as if she was opening a gift of the highest quality. The long wait did not wear down her enthusiasm. Instead, it made her even more willing to taste the most delicious meal. Their traces were left everywhere in the bedroom. Xiao Han took Chu Xiong to thoroughly familiarize herself with every corner of his bedroom. The bottle of red wine was on Xiao Han's bedside table. They knocked it over and spilled it on their bodies. They finally tasted it properly and remembered the taste of this bottle of red wine. It was more mellow and attractive than the most precious red wine in the world. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Xiao Han finally knew why Chu Xiong should be worried about him. It was because he felt that he had been eaten clean over and over again. Although he was happy, he still felt that something was wrong. They still had to bid at 10 o'clock in the morning. Chu Xiong announced that they would take a bath and go to sleep to preserve their energy. They finally understood the structure of the bathtub in depth. Then, they lay down on the comfortable bed in the guest room and prepared to sleep. Chu Xiong rested her head on Xiao Han's shoulder, hugged his waist, and pressed her face against his chest. She felt much more comfortable than sleeping alone. Soon she fell asleep. Xiao Han still wanted to talk to her, but he was the only one awake. He kissed the space between her eyebrows and muttered in his heart, "Heartless." He closed his eyes and went through the bidding contents in his mind again. He only fell asleep after making sure that there wouldn't be any problems with Chu Xiong's first project. This time no one came to disturb them. They really hugged each other and spent the night. They did not feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, they felt refreshed and energetic. This feeling of waking up in Peter's embrace was wonderful. Perhaps this was the feeling of being passionately in love. It made people unconsciously want to smile and feel warm all over, as if they had fallen into cotton candy. Chu Xiong pressed down on the restless Xiao Han. She got down barefoot and turned to him with a smile. "We're going to bid. If we win, we'll celebrate together tonight." Chu Xiong went into the bathroom. Xiao Han also went back to the main bathroom as fast as he could to take care of himself. He saw the torn dress on the carpet. He picked it up and looked at the size. He called his special assistant and asked him to buy a professional dress suit immediately and a suit to match the dress. Xiao Han looked at the wrinkled and scrapped shirt on the ground. He was very satisfied with his special assistant's taste and decided to give him a bonus at the end of the year. Chu Xiong did not have any clothes to change into, so Xiao Han took a white shirt for her to wear. However, when he saw Chu Xiong's long legs walking around the room, he regretted it. He immediately took a bathrobe and wrapped it around her. If they didn't cover up a little, they would be late for the bidding. Xiao Han made breakfast. He used to study abroad and learned to make simple Chinese food. Tasted good. Chu Xiong sat opposite Xiao Han and enjoyed breakfast leisurely. She was in a very good mood. Xiao Han took a sip of milk and said casually, "Now many people like to move out and live by themselves. It's convenient to go to work and socialize. Xiang, have you ever thought about moving out?" Chu Xiong looked at him with a smile. "Where?" Xiao Han coughed softly and said, "Purple Jade Garden is not bad. It's not far from the Dongfang Group. The environment is good. Do you want to take a look?" Purple Jade Garden. Chu Xiong thought for a moment and smiled. "The one between the Dongfang Group and the Xiao Group. It's very convenient for you to go to work from there. It's indeed a good place, but I'm not moving. I want to accompany my parents." Xiao Han lowered his eyes and played with the cutlery. He did not give up. Chairman Chu and Chairman Fong are so close. They should have their own world. Chu Xiong nodded and wiped the corner of her mouth with a napkin. "They do need their own world, so I've decided to work hard and take over the Dongfang Group as soon as possible so that they can retire and travel around the world. When that time comes, they can enjoy their romantic world. They might even have a romantic baby. Before they travel, I want to enjoy the warmth of a family. I hope you can take over the Dongfang Group as soon as possible." Xiao Han picked up the milk and clinked glasses with her. He smiled lightly. He had grasped the main point. The sooner his girlfriend became a superwoman in the business world, the sooner Chairman Chu and Chairman Fong would leave. Only then would he be able to successfully enter his girlfriend's private space. He decided to adjust the strategic direction of the Xiao Group for the next 3 years and cooperate with the Dongfang Group in all aspects to achieve a win-win situation and create beautiful results for his girlfriend. After dinner, the clothes bought by the special assistant were delivered. Xiao Han's driver drove the Maybach to take the two of them to the tender and meet up with their subordinates there. There was no need for too many people to go for the tender. Only 6 of them went. When they arrived, Yi Chan and Yi Zhenhong had just arrived. Yi Chan followed beside Yi Zhenhong. When he saw the Maybach, his face darkened. He could not help but wonder where Chu Xiong and Xiao Han went after getting into the car and what they did. Then, he saw Xiao Han get out of the car and go around to the other side to open the door. Who else could make Xiao Han do this? Yi Chan had a bad premonition. Sure enough, in the next second, Chu Xiang held Xiao Han's hand and smiled as she watched Xiao Han get out of the car. The intimacy and tacit understanding that lingered around the two of them stung Yi Chen's eyes. He clearly understood that something must have happened between them. In the past, Chu Xiang belonged to him completely. But now, Chu Xiang stood beside Xiao Han, and he no longer existed in her eyes. Yi Zhenhong's face was slightly ugly. He faked a smile and said, "President Xiao and Sister Chu seem to value this tender very much. They actually came in person. Isn't it the same for President Yi?" Xiao Han was still a man of few words to outsiders. He nodded as a greeting and walked into the hall with Chu Xiang first. Yi Zhenhong came because the Xiao group and the Dongfang group had joined forces to snatch his bid. Of course, he had to take it seriously. The Yi family had been preparing for a long time. The Xiao group and the Dongfang group were just acting on the spur of the moment. He might not lose. He glared at Yi Chen and snorted coldly. "It's all your fault. Chu Xiang won the bid. We're all family. What about now? She's about to become a member of the Xiao family. You can't do anything right." Yi Zhenhong strode into the hall, and Yi Chen followed him inexpressionlessly. He saw that the organizer was exchanging greetings with Chu Xiang. He had already regarded her as the representative of the Dongfang group and a mature bidder. His hands hanging by his legs clenched into fists. He had never realized so deeply that the Chu family and the Yi family had really broken up. He could only blame himself for being too naive and treating these things as conflicts between children. He kept pestering them, but he forgot that they had already grown up and could even affect the family business. At this moment, he wished that he could become stronger. He wished that he could be stronger than Xiao Han and stand beside Chu Xiang, shoulder to shoulder with her. Chapter 23. The bidding company received instructions from the top and knew that there would be changes in the policy. This seemingly ordinary project would become a super project when the policy was announced. Due to the special circumstances, in order to ensure fairness, the bidding company temporarily informed the bidders that the bid would be opened, announced, and evaluated on the spot. In the afternoon, the notice of winning and losing the bid would be issued. Then the winning bidder was required to sign the project contract with the bid inviter within 3 days. A total of 6 companies participated in the bidding. Chu Xiang sat beside Xiao Han and listened to Xiao Han explain to her the unexpected events that might occur during the bidding. She learned a lot from Xiao Han since it was the first time she came into contact with these things. The two of them talked head to head. Yi Chen saw them from behind and felt that they were very close. His heart felt like it was being bitten by countless ants, which made him very uncomfortable. The bidding company had filed a record with the relevant departments in advance. All the way, the process of review, announcement, and bid opening was quickly completed. After confirming with all parties, the bid evaluation committee began to evaluate the bids, and the people from the companies went to the restaurant next door for lunch. Yi Zhenhong felt that something was wrong. Not only was the bidding time advanced, but it also seemed to be very strict. Considering the importance of this project, this shouldn't happen. He tried to ask the people of the bidding company, but they kept their mouths shut and only asked him to wait patiently for the bidding results. He called the other shareholders of the company and asked them to find out what was wrong with this project by any means. After an hour, someone vaguely inquired a little bit. This project might be changed and the profit would be doubled. Yi Zhenhong instantly understood why Xiao Han wanted to help the Chu family win the bid. It was not only to help Chu Xiang vent her anger, but also because he knew the internal information in advance and knew that this project was profitable. Yi Zhenhong's heart kept sinking. He called the company a few more times and got up to find the people of the bidding company. Yi Zhenhong and the other shareholders of the Yi group worked together, but it was still useless. Time passed little by little. He could only watch the bidding company give the notice of winning to Chu Xiang on the spot. The people in charge of the companies came forward to shake hands with Chu Xiang and congratulate her. They didn't expect to win, so they didn't have much regret if they failed. Only Yi Junhong's heart was bleeding after knowing the inside story. He maintained the smile on his face as he congratulated Chu Xiong and Xiao Han. Then he strode away without looking back. The moment he got into the car, he gave Yi Chen a tight slap. The last time you caused Chu Xiong to be hospitalized, you made Yi Group lose more than $1 billion in profits. This time you provoked her to snatch our bid. The fat meat that we've been eyeing for a long time fell into her mouth just like that. The Yi Group has become a big joke. Yi Chen never thought it would be so serious. He covered his face and asked unhappily, "Is the Yi Group so useless against them? Can't you do anything about it? Redeem. Don't you see how strict it is today? This was to prevent people from using their connections in private. You're really my good son. If you didn't harass Chu Xiong, would she target the Yi family? The Yi family has already lost 3 business deals to the Chu family. Are you really going to make the Yi family go bankrupt before you're satisfied?" Yi Chen lowered his head and muttered, "I didn't know. Did she really steal our business? You only know how to eat, drink and play. What do you know? Do you think she's playing house with you? Even if we break off the engagement with the Chu family, we still owe them face. You have to make enemies with the Chu family. Today at the meeting you still stared at Chu Xiong. What else do you want? In the future stay away from Chu Xiong. Go back to your school and study hard." Yi Junhong had nowhere to vent his anger. He didn't like Yi Chen at all. Yi Chen knew that he was in the wrong and had nothing to say. Today's incident was like a hammer hitting him hard on the head. He never knew that breaking up with Chu Xiong would cause such a big trouble and cause so many follow-up troubles. He also didn't know that his pursuit of Chu Xiong would make Chu Xiong really target the Yi Group. He felt that Chu Xiong was completely different from the girl in his memory. He had been in the past and did everything according to Chu Xiong's character in the past. However, he didn't realize until now that he didn't know Chu Xiong anymore. Chu Xiong had gone too far. He was still in the same place and couldn't recognize the reality. When he got home, Yi Junhong asked Sun Jie to go to the study to discuss for a while. Sun Jie came out and wanted to set Yi Chen up on a blind date. The other party was the Zhang family, which was similar to the Yi family. The marriage between the two sides could achieve an effect of 11% too. They would form an alliance and improve together. Yi Chen naturally objected fiercely. He hated business marriages the most. That sister Zhang was domineering and ugly. Why should he marry her? This time, Sun Jie refused to help him. In Sun Jie's eyes, marriage and finding someone you like had no conflict at all. How could it affect the company because of the child's temper? She directly ordered Yi Chen to be locked at home and only waited for the appointment with the Zhang family to let them meet. The whole Yi family and the Yi group seemed to be shrouded in a shadow. They officially gave up making peace with the Chu family and regarded the Chu family as the biggest threat. They were anxious to find allies and get through the difficulties. They didn't hesitate to betray Yi Chen's marriage. On the contrary, all the employees of the Xiao Group and the Dongfang Group who participated in the project were cheering more happily than the new year. Chu Xiong's first independent project had achieved initial success. She directly asked everyone to go to the bar to celebrate. Xiao Han sat in the middle of the crowd and watched everyone drinking, playing finger-guessing games, singing and dancing. He couldn't help but lean close to Chu Xiong's ear. "We won the bid this morning and celebrated together. I thought there were only 2 of us." Chu Xiong gently shook the glass and took a sip. She leaned close to his ear and said, "It's lively with more people. Isn't it fun? Let's go dancing." Xiao Han rarely came to the bar. Even if he came, he would talk about business in the private room. He had never sat outside in the hall, let alone dance. Before he had time to refuse, Chu Xiong pulled up the glass. Others saw it and immediately cheered. "President Xiao is going to dance. We want to see Sister Chu and President Xiao dance. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's get excited." Chu Xiang took Xiao Han's arm and walked to the dance floor. They swayed to the music. She smiled and led Xiao Han to dance with her. Her dancing posture was extremely moving. Xiao Han's eyes were full of her. He had long forgotten the people around him. He just followed her movements and cooperated with her. The employees of the Xiao group were shocked. President Xiao is not possessed, is he? Is that really President Xiao? Wow, I seem to know a secret. President Xiao and Sister Chu. No wonder they always ask us to have a meeting together. Do you remember that they left before the meeting? Look at the way President Xiao looks at Sister Chu. Seems that he is really different. Hey Pie Wang, you always follow President Xiao. Do you know? Pie Wang pushed his glasses and said with a smile, "It's not convenient for me to talk about the boss. No, President Xiao and Sister Chu are both workaholics. If they are really together, won't we be miserable?" Everyone gathered together and didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Looking at Xiao Han dancing with Chu Xiang on the dance floor, they felt that they were not far away from endless overtime. The DJ changed the song. It was the kind of explosive solo. Xiao Han was not used to it. He stepped out of the dance floor and watched Chu Xiang dance. Chu Xiang especially enjoyed the feeling of dancing freely on the dance floor. This kind of deafening and unscrupulous feeling was like a group of demons dancing wildly. There was a kind of madness that she was familiar with. During this period of time, she learned the rules of the modern world and suppressed all the crazy factors in the bottom of her heart. Today's successful bid made her feel the long-lost pleasure. In the business world, she could still be decisive. On the dance floor, she could also party to her heart's content. The people around Chu Xiang gradually retreated. They whistled and screamed around her. Chu Xiang became the most dazzling focus of the scene. Even the employees of the Xiao group and Dongfang group gathered around and cheered loudly. After the song ended, Chu Xiang held Xiao Han and walked back to their seats. The intimate behavior of the two was the proof that they were together. Everyone was looking at them excitedly. Chu Xiang picked up a glass of champagne and said to everyone during the music break, "I am very happy today. The success of the first step of the project is all thanks to everyone's joint efforts. Everyone's project bonus will be doubled. Ah, long live the Queen." The employees were so happy that they began to shout out the nicknames they had given Chu Xiang. The project bonus was more than their annual salary. The overtime they had worked during this period of time was worth it. They were even willing to work for another year. The music sounded again and everyone was happy to play. Chu Xiang said to Xiao Han, "I am going to the bathroom. We will leave first later. Only the two of us can celebrate." Xiao Han finally found some sense of existence and nodded slightly to show his agreement. Chu Xiang went to the bathroom and danced for a while. She felt very comfortable, but her hair and clothes were a little messy. She smoothed her hair in the mirror and was ready to go back. A drunk man saw her and said with a smile, "Aren't you the hot girl who was dancing just now? How about it? Do you want to have some fun with me?" The man staggered towards Chu Xiang. Just as Chu Xiang was about to hit him, the man hit the wall and screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Xiao Han was still holding the man's arm. When he withdrew his foot, the man's arm had been dislocated. Xiao Han looked at Chu Xiang and asked, "Are you okay?" Chu Xiang shook her head. "No, why are you here? I want to pick you up. Let's go." Xiao Han called Pie Wang and asked him to deal with it. When the man cursed, he kicked him again. Then he held Chu Xiang's hand and left the bar. Chu Xiang smiled and teased him. "President Xiao is very handsome. That posture just now was obviously practiced." Xiao Han pointed out, "Then do you want to go back with me to learn self-defense skills? You always attract so many crazy bees. You have to learn more to be safe." Chu Xiang winked at him ambiguously and smiled. "Sure, Xiao Xiao, teach me a few more moves. I'm a good student, and I might even be able to draw inferences and teach CEO Xiao a few more moves." Xiao Han's body heated up. He pulled her into the car and raised the partition. In the back seat of the car, They could occasionally hear Xiao Han's low and hoarse voice asking, "Have you learned it?" And Chu Xiong's reply was not to be outdone. "I will teach you again." This time, the driver drove round and round the city, and no one asked him to stop. Chu Xiong learned a set of self-defense skills and taught the teacher some new tricks. From the neon lights outside the car window to Xiao Han's house overlooking the city, she and Xiao Han thoroughly experienced the beauty of the city. Feng Qing called Chu Xiong but did not get through. She thought that her daughter did not come home for the second time and could not help but call Chu Dongqi overseas. She said worriedly, "Is Xiong Xiong really keeping a sugar baby?" That you're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.